if it likes to go.
Good.
I guess not. I didn't hear from him either. He might be at the conference.
Hey, Steph.
I think he normally goes every year.
This big one, is that just the gas purchase? Okay, that's what I was just checking. I didn't know if it was like a repayment type thing or if that was just our, is this for the year or that's just
Month.
paying for the month? Okay.
Okay, call the meeting to order. All rise, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody, including our friends from the lake. All right. Okay, roll call. Michelle?
Here.
Annie?
Here.
Tim?
Present.
Justin? And Brett. Okay.
I'm going to adopt the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have an addition. Originally on the agenda that I sent out to you guys on Friday, I had 149 Cedar Circle for a patio on, and they're Robsons, and they are here. And I took that off because I didn't have the permit, but they are here with their permit. So if we can add that.
Okay. We will, let's add it between 470 West Glen Hills Drive and North Lyon County. Is that all right?
Sure. Or do you want to do them first since they're here? Or no.
Is that new city business?
Mhm.
We should put it with new city business.
Yeah.
She
Down here.
met her on the top of the new city business.
Oh,
After
so that-
CMB permit.
Okay, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Is that where you want it?
Sure.
Sorry to speak for you.
Yeah,
Justin.
no, it's okay.
No, thanks.
149.
Okay, with that addition, I move to approve.
A second?
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? 4-0.
I move to approve the minutes of March 14th and March 21st meetings.
One little tiny correction.
Uh-oh.
Did she spell your name wrong?
No. On the second page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs down, third line. I think there should be 8. Is
Yeah.
what you meant?
Operator at Lake MC. Yeah. For the offers to be. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
6th paragraph down starts out, council member Tim Wines moved, blah, blah, blah. Third line, Lake Bunsey and
Yeah.
for the
It's
offers.
just poor grammar.
I find those just to prove that I was reading.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I want people to correct me.
And with that correction, I will second that motion to approve. Does it need to be 2 separate?
I think so.
Yeah, probably.
You should just make the motion.
I move to approve the minutes of March 14th.
We have a motion to approve,
A second?
and we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Those opposed? 4-0.
I move to approve the minutes of March 21st.
A second. Sorry, I didn't read it twice.
Have a motion to approve, and we have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Those in favor? Those opposed? 4-0.
I'll move to approve appropriation ordinance 1495.
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve ordinance number 1495 and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor? Roll call.
Oh, roll call.
Yes.
Michelle? Annie?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Thank
Okay, at this time, does anybody from the public have anything they'd like to comment on?
I do.
Okay, step forward, please.
I'm Dolly Mercer. And since I was going to ask Todd this question, but I'm going to put it out there in general. For your meeting on the 21st, it was supposed to be about, viewing the city with the EPA and the different regional people. And then the meeting turned into several different items that were covered to avoid appearing like you're trying to, it just didn't look right because it was on the agenda. It could have been there was no agenda put out. There was just a notice when the meeting was going to be either there or here. But at that time, you could have had her put out a little note saying that you're going to talk about the bait shop and the application that you had for it and anything else that was added onto that meeting. Because when you have special meetings, people think that's what you're going to talk about mainly. And I know that it was urgent to get a bait shop person, but then again, it also would have been nice to have been able to know that that is there. I'd already done a walk around with the people, EPA and the regional people, plus witnessed the meeting that you had a couple of times at their meetings plus there. So I didn't feel it necessary for me to come to the meeting, but I would have come if you were going to talk about an application for the bait shop and anything else that might have been covered at that meeting. So in order to avoid people thinking you're trying to slide something by, because you have a lot of executive sessions, which I don't trust for obvious reasons, and then you have a special meeting where you have an additional agenda, probably not a good look. So if you can if you can hold on to it until the next meeting, that would have been fine. Although I know the bait shop was urgent. But you could have had it. We could have been notified because you knew about it the week before.
On the meetings of March 14th, it states that we directed the city clerk to advertise around town in the paper that we'd be having a work session on March 21st in a special meeting for the purpose of hiring a bait shop operator. So we did put the word out.
I think that was probably my fault, Dolly.
Oh, that's okay. But that's good. I'm glad. I wish you had gotten that because I would have been there.
Sorry about that.
I'm curious to know what are the obvious reasons that you don't trust the executive sessions. Is that because of all of your underhandedness that you
probably
did?
After being on council several times, a lot of times the reason people go into executive sessions because there's things they don't want to discuss in the public and they don't want the public to know their opinions.
That's true in any business, Dolly.
I know, that's why it should be clear and careful that you have as much as possible in the open so that people know what's truly going on. Okay,
well, in reference to your comment about the bait shop and the EPA, that was mentioned on the 14th that we'd be doing this on the 21st. It was made aware to the public what we'd be talking about, and that is what we talked about that night.
But on the 14th, you didn't have anybody lined up for the bait shop, so I didn't know there was going to be a discussion about that.
We didn't have anybody lined up on the 14th.
That's right.
We put the information out that we would be discussing on the 21st at our special meeting, those that had applied for counter offered our proposal for the bait shop during the week of the 14th through the 20th.
Mm-hmm.
For the session beyond. So we did put the word out. Am I not correct on that we put it out?
You said that we were going to discuss the bait shop contract, and we discussed the bait shop contract. That's the way we advertised it. That's what we did. Anybody else have a question, comment?
Okay, but we'll take into advisement in the future. We'll make sure that word gets out in another format other than just posting signs around town and putting it in the newspaper.
Agenda, because that meeting ended up having 2 or 3 subjects covered. The agenda would have been nice. That's all.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Well, I might add to that just because, you mentioned the urgency, but we also didn't know that somebody was going to come in at the 11th hour, so to speak, and present a proposal. And that happened literally right before the meeting. So I would just say that that was a lot of it that, we had mentioned, in, like Terry said, on the meeting on the 14th. We did discuss that we would review any proposals as they came up going into the day. We didn't think we would have a proposal at all to review. We were still going to discuss what that would look like if the city tried to run it themselves and use an employees type of situation versus a contractor situation. And a lot of, I wasn't crazy about that, but I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, you have to have the bait shop as an amenity to the people at the lake that are trying to camp. That needs to be open, and somebody selling permits on behalf of the city. It's a necessity, so it was going to be done either way. But when Julie came forward, it immediately, since we'd already talked about it, we didn't think we were violating anything. Just going ahead and adding that to the agenda, so to speak. Which at the time going into the day, it was only that single line item to finish discussing with the EPA and KDHE and Flint Hills Regional and the other people that were there. But
And what I'm telling you, Justin, is that it was known that she was going to be at that meeting and it was not, and it wasn't passed on. Because she'd asked different people to work to see if they could possibly work for her the week before.
okay,
And so probably if Stephanie had known that, then she might have thought to add it to the no.
Can I add in on
Okay.
that?
Yeah.
I did ask people to work for me, but I wasn't quite sure that I was going to commit to doing the bait shop
Mhm,
because I did enjoy still working at the store.
mhm.
So I only kind of made up my mind like 2 days before
Mhm.
they had that meeting. So that's why, because I had to ask people, but yeah. It was just kind of a preliminary fishing to see if people would work.
Fishing.
And then I wasn't sure that was something that I wanted to do.
I'm glad you were fishing for an answer.
I was. Gonna see if somebody would help me out.
Anything further?
nope, nothing. I'm done.
All right, let's go on to department reports. Stephanie?
So everyone should have a financial sheet. And then the only thing that I was going to discuss tonight was just, a lot of people have been asking me, and I've been saying that we're gonna start taking camping reservations on April 7th. I haven't been taking those because I'm not out there. I don't have the spots. I don't know where to put who to put where. I had talked to Julie and she was fine with that. I just wanted to confirm with you guys. I have sold fishing permits out of City Hall and I'll sell a boating permit, I guess, if someone comes. But camping reservations are a little different. So if that's good by you guys to start taking those April 7th when Julie gets in there.
Were we able to set that to where you cannot purchase one more than 2 months in advance?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
And so everything's running through that now.
So yeah, I had sent them everything. Julie got me all the stuff the next day. I sent all that to them and they are working on it. I asked them today, I reached out because I haven't heard back. We were going back and forth with questions with Astra kind of all week. And then I asked them today the timeline and they didn't get back to me. So hopefully that we got everything to them. So we'll see.
Let's see. You guys are still in the bait house. I did collect $150 on Saturday morning from a fishing tournament that they had out there, which thanks to Deb Ponton, she did call me. I talked to her and she did tell me that they were having it out there. And so I do have $150 to turn into somebody, but I have it now. So since we were talking about the bait house, I figured I'd throw it in.
What kind of permits did they buy? A 1 day, 2 days, something?
It was $15 a boat, which is what he said they did last year. So he told me when I talked to the guy, he said, well, there's a barcode in there you can scan that will say. So I'm assuming maybe that's a I don't know what their day charges are.
Yeah.
But Anyway,
So cool.
I have $150 for the city.
Atta girl, Julie.
And while we're on that subject of bait shops, there'll be no more fishing tournaments at the lake until further notice.
No more fish fries, huh?
Not even
No, I
if
didn't say
they
fish
let us
fries,
go
I said
ahead.
fishing tournaments. Pardon me? Tim, you want to elaborate on that, please?
Okay.
When we had the Stock the Lake meeting, the fish salesman explained to me what it does to fish when you catch them and release them. I'm sure you watch them swim off quickly, but you've damaged it. And 90% of them will die within the next 2 weeks. The fish salesman told me that. There was a member from the lake who was there, and he participates in lots of bass tournaments, and he was very adamantly in agreement with that as well. So then I spoke with the biologist, Eli Sprinkle. That's what I had you print off for me here. And he was definitely of the same mindset that fish tournaments kill lots of the fish. And the whole reason that we had the golf tournament was to put fish in the lake. And we don't make enough money out of the tournaments to constitute letting them kill all of our big lunkers. Because these are the professionals come out there. They catch the big ones. So I'd rather preserve those fish.
Sounds good.
Didn't they used to catch and keep and then have a fish fry? If that was, you're worried about, you're kind of just not wanting them to fish there because of the big fish, or just not release them? So keep them.
I think we're trying to prevent the death of all the fish that are caught and released. And if we have too many tournaments, I'm actually not saying we're not going to have any more, period. I think we need to keep the lake from getting stressed. So we're going to limit the number of tournaments that we have.
Well, if those professionals said that, that makes
And
sense.
it will be all determined by what the wildlife and parks has to say about that sort of thing. I think it's not a bad idea.
Does it make sense to do some kind of a surcharge and invest that back into the, stocking the lake, like some kind of a fund that, automatically a tournament's going to be, I don't know, if we only collected 150 from the tournament we just had, multiple hundreds of dollars to go into that fund for future investment might be a drop in the bucket, but I don't know.
But it's a thought. It's a thought in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'll go along with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. We can replenish it. I guess it's not any different than cutting trees down. You plant new ones, right?
Yeah. Although it does take a while for a fish to mature and, convert all those pounds of little fish to a bigger fish that you want to catch. So
I do have another thing, sorry. So, Julie's gonna be out there April 7th, and our next meeting is until April 11th. So say Astra isn't up and running until then, can she use the city's iPad and Square stuff that was used last year for credit card sales, or do you guys want her to do?
We've got to accommodate those customers. So yes, I think
Okay.
we're going to have
Do
to
we
do
have that
that.
equipment?
Yes,
Yeah, you can still get the records. You could even put it in later
right.
if you wanted to do it that way.
Okay,
So
I just wanted to
I think
confirm
that's-
before we get to that point, so.
I don't think delay on behalf of just getting the software going is my opinion. Anyway.
Perfect.
Should I ask about my money at this point?
Say what?
Should I ask about the,
I have, I have it for you.
Stephanie has a check for me so I can go get some stuff for the big house. Here, stop that.
Anybody else have any comments about the tournament, the lake fishing? Okay, and anything else to report?
No.
Okay, let's talk about your request for a vacuum cleaner.
That sucks.
So the old one here, is not working. I don't know if someone knows how to fix a vacuum cleaner, would be my guess. I have a Shark at home. That's the only reason why I have these three options, because I like my Shark. If someone has something different that they like, by all means. But I would like to get a vacuum cleaner that works for City Hall.
So who do we contract to clean the city hall?
I claim City Hall.
Didn't we used to have a contractor do that? If we've never had one.
Well, I mean, you have somebody do the rugs, is that right? Or am I making that up?
Yeah. So, Airmark comes in and they change out like the big rugs every other Tuesday.
Yeah.
And that are in front, the big brown.
But we don't have
ones.
anybody that empties the trash and does the windows and floors. You're overpaid if you're doing that.
So,
Okay, we need to discuss doing something about that at some point. In the meantime,
Stephanie, do you have a preference?
No.
Okay.
You know, the differences are so.
Yeah.
I don't know about the whole vacuum cleaner that's pretty much a stick
Yeah,
with
I
a thing
don't
on the
know.
end of it.
I've never used
mean,
one of those. But
Like immediately out of these three, my mind's going to the last one.
Yeah.
Even though it's the most expensive, I mean,
Yeah.
it's $20 more. I
You
mean,
get what you pay for.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be able to, people come in with muddy feet and stuff. And
Yeah.
you want to make sure it does what you need it to do. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've got a Navigator. I like it, but that's.
and is this something that we have to get in a particular store, or can the lumberyard order it in and get it for us? Just check it out.
Yeah.
If we can get a decent price from the lumberyard, you might as well do business with them. Do you guys want to set a maximum amount of money so we can go ahead and get it without waiting for further information? Or do you want further information and then go from there?
Just vacuum cleaner, so.
Yeah. I mean,
And it's not like you're doing the whole house or something. I imagine it probably is gonna last for a little while.
or just say 200 and
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I moved to approve up to $200 for out herself a new car, vacuum cleaner.
Her new present.
I'll second.
Motion to approve, seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Yeah, right.
5-0. And just let me know if nobody else wants to say. All right.
Give me the old one.
You want it? Yeah.
All right,
I'm
next
a
up.
vacuum cleaner.
Okay, next up, new city business. Let's go ahead and start with 149 Cedar Circle. Is it Robson or Robson? How's that pronounced?
Robson.
Robson. Nice to meet you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you. I don't know. Here's a picture of it's a patio that's on our shoreline next to our dock. And it's massively caved in the last,
It's not in there.
over this
Okay.
last year.
Oh my. Yeah.
And we've talked to our contractor and we want to just put a Trek deck over it. We're going to shore up the rocks and just put a Trek deck over it. And anyway, one approval. I didn't, here's my permit application. It's kind of I'm not a very good artist. But,
we don't care about how pretty it
the
is.
dock's there and I mean, it's on the shoreline, but we'd like approval to go ahead and do the work.
And you didn't even color it for us.
yeah. Let's fall in on it.
Do you know what you're gonna use to shore it up? Stone or?
Yeah, we're gonna use some of the existing stone here, and then put the contractor said he's gonna put poles down in,
Okay.
and then just level it out with the Trek decking.
Okay.
My
Yeah.
main question I have is, are you gonna do something to prevent more of that from falling into the lake? Are you gonna pull it back or something?
Yes, yeah, we're gonna pull it back. Eric Stevie is gonna do our work for us, and he built our new dock a year ago, and he's done very good work. And I think he's done a lot of work around the lake, and I trust him to keep it shored up. Yeah,
Will you keep us informed as of progress and when it's finished?
I sure will. Yeah,
None of it's gonna be concrete, right?
no.
Did I miss the application?
It's not. So he brought it with him, and that's why we added.
Yeah, that's why it's there.
That's-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
the agenda, so that's
apologize.
the
I
only-
didn't
yeah.
pay it early. We were out of town and,
Okay, you made it in time, otherwise it'd been another month.
right. Thank you.
And this will be billed as a structure. I mean, you're paying for the patio that's there right now, correct?
I don't think I am. It was there when we purchased the property 7 years ago.
May have been put in without
It
a
was
permit.
put
then.
in. Yeah, I have no idea.
This will change that. You're aware of that, right?
I'm aware of that.
Well, then with that knowledge, I move to approve.
Okay.
So
I
I'll
see.
make sure that we're all on the same page.
What will
How much
what
is
will the charge be?
Was it 175? Is that right? 170?
I think it's 170.
170.
Okay.
Per year.
It's the same as a standard deck.
Okay.
I second it.
We're okay with that.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Congratulations. Thank you, Ms. Groves.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Yes, I need that. I can get you a copy if you want.
Okay. Well, I need to pay you too.
Yeah. So you wanna-
Don't let him get out of here.
Well, change your mind.
Chase him down. Hold your broken vacuum cleaner.
Well, they won't be able to suck up the money now.
Okay, let's move on. 327 East Clinton Hills Drive permit. The Dock Shade Strathman, are they here?
Are we doing the CMB application?
Wait a minute. Oh,
It's
sorry, I
very
skipped
time.
right over
You're
there.
all
I Sure
right.
did.
I
Okay.
move to
Just wanna
approve.
keep
I'll
skipping.
second.
What is this? Am I crazy?
That's
the
the
cafe.
cat.
Oh, that's
Right
right.
here is the
Oh
new
my
one.
gosh. Sorry. I'm catching up now. I knew that.
Yeah, you did. You told me.
So, do you have a motion? Did you motion?
Uh-huh.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, is this the new cafe owner?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know what her name was gonna be out there. Okay.
She's right here too.
Who's second?
Terry. Aisha.
Who's second?
You're Aisha Beach.
I did.
Nice to see you again.
I moved. Brett seconded it.
You have a motion to approve and a second. Any discussion?
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
So the sidewalks out front, since I'll own the business, I'm responsible for them, correct?
Mhm.
Can I have tables out front? Like not covering the whole sidewalk, but I wanted to put like one on one side of the door and one on the other side of the door with just 3 or 4 chairs. And since people be able to drink beer with their meal outside, since it's in the public.
It's a state law that it's so many feet from the door, I want to say, but I mean, I'm not like an expert on that at all, but.
Okay.
Right.
It has to be on the.
And there's an exception if it's enclosed, you know, like a beer garden type of deal, and you
Right.
can go
I
further,
think you would
but
have to put like some type of little small like wrought iron fence around that area. Like they would do in Lawrence where they put it around half the sidewalk and the other half of the sidewalk is completely open. Are you
I get it.
tracking what I'm?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So like, as long as you're not blocking off the entire
No.
sidewalk, but half of it is,
Yeah,
you know.
I just wanted.
That's why I can have my
tables out
card
front.
holder there, then I was allowed to put my card holder there, so it's kind of like that. you know?
So if they don't drink beer outside, can I have a couple of tables out there just if people wanna eat outside?
I
Without having the.
Sure,
permit?
absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything against it, drinking outside. I mean, we have dances
You
here.
have to
people
stay
drink
in
all the
front of
time.
the building, but it gets tricky when they walk in
When
front
they
of
leave.
another one.
The
or
difference is-
opposite
I'm not,
or-
you should go read it, because I'm not sure about the,
That's
the border,
So
actually.
they have to stay
I think
within
you just need to
the
make sure they don't walk off.
I want to say it's so many feet from the door or a
But when we reread it, I was like, this is kind of fuzzy with the way they say, because we thought we had to mark in the whole park, and that was not true.
A lot of it is city, I think.
It is, yeah, it is city code. That's what it was. So it may not be.
So I guess we're giving you
But I
a
don't know.
lesson.
Our city code's probably silent on, it's probably just a free for all.
We have nobody to enforce it.
We have
Either
some
way.
stuff on it.
Yeah.
There's only gonna be 2 little tables outside. I don't think people are gonna have.
Like little bistro
beer
tables.
brawl or
That's
anything
what-
out there.
Yeah, to watch the option.
The masses are chiming in over there.
lived here my whole
That
life.
sounds great to me.
So are you gonna be opening more in the evening?
Before May 1st, I'm hoping for the middle of April. So we'll be open 7 to 2, 7 days a week. And then I'm gonna try to get it open Friday night through Tuesday night. Not in the beginning, but hopefully by the middle of the month.
Are you gonna pipe in?
Wonderful.
We'll be open like 7 to 2, and then on the other Monday or Friday through Tuesday, we'll be open like 4 to 7 or 4 to 8. I haven't really decided yet. We'll close for a couple hours in the afternoon, unless there's something going on in town where it's super busy and I just can't get closed.
Are you gonna be open on Sunday mornings at all? No.
Yes, 7 to 2, 7 days a week.
Sure. Yes.
So Alicia, are you gonna pipe in some Italian music for those people out there drinking wine and beer in front of everybody?
Probably not.
Might help the business, I don't know. Okay.
So what are you gonna serve? Sorry for my own curiosity.
The menu's gonna stay the same, but our specials are definitely gonna be different.
Okay.
I wanna go back to having Taco Tuesdays.
Yes.
Probably not just tacos, but like I wanna add in an Indian taco one week, maybe taco salad the next, something. So we'll have some different specials. I wanna have some for the summer and then some when it's cold in the winter. So
Awesome.
the summer and winter will be different also.
If you get like a real good chili in the wintertime, we'll
Yeah.
have some weekly customers.
All right.
All right, sorry.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments about new business coming in?
Aisha.
Aisha.
No.
Aisha.
We're good.
I just remember the name Beach. That's good enough, right?
No.
Just talk to that beach lady over there at the buffet.
Careful how you say beach.
I understand. You don't have any boys for children, do you?
I do.
Oh, boy. Okay, I gotta really be careful then. All right, so any further discussion on allowing this to go? I think we had a motion to approve it anyway, didn't we, in a second?
And a second.
And a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, very good. 5-0. Now we go to Strathman's.
I have
They-
a question about, before we proceed, has anybody gone out there and measured these docks that are transferring over and reported back what they have there?
Sally
Okay.
did not have time this week. She came in. So yeah, she had a rough weekend. So no. And I was gonna let you guys know that before, so I'm glad you asked. But she has not been out there to measure anything.
Sorry, which one are we on? Because I thought we were doing this. Is it
Strathman.
327.
So
So,
Not a
347 East Flint Hills Road.
So this
Drive.
one,
this is the
okay.
yeah, not a dream.
So this one is on here. I don't know. They do have two docks. She said they are not changing the structure of anything, but they want to take off this
That little
and
thing.
replace it with a cover. She said their second dock is actually like a place where they park their pontoon, and it does have a lift in it. So I said I didn't know. I
Do
don't know.
you know if it has a second story, essentially, the deck, whatever the double decker dock?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
you don't know, or no, it doesn't?
I guess no, I don't know for sure.
I mean, there's the picture, right? This.
That's the one that they're wanting to put a cover on.
and what is the size of that
The
dock?
other one is just a lift, right?
A 19
That's what I'm trying to clarify.
by
Oh, it has
I didn't know. if
walking space. I thought you were just saying a
19
roof.
by 11. Yeah.
And they do
19
have
6 by
another
11.
dock, a second dock?
So she said that's where they park their pontoon, and it has a lift. So I don't know if it's a boat lift or a dock.
I'm gonna move the table it until Sally can get out there.
Well, maybe someone besides Sally, because unfortunately her husband's not doing too well and she doesn't really have the time to move on something like this quickly enough, in my opinion.
Then I'll move the table it till someone can.
As I stated 2 or 3 meetings ago, the neighbor guy who wants to start up that canoe, kayak, whatever business, he's interested in doing this for us also.
We can consider him, but on a temporary basis until Sally's able to return to
He
work.
understands that also.
Okay.
But anyway,
So
at
maybe,
any rate, I second his motion to table it until we get further information.
And that information is about,
I would like to know what the second dock is like, because if they already have one dock that has, it's what it looks like to you.
Right.
If one dock already has the double decker, then I don't think that we commonly allow them to put a double decker on the second dock. I think one of them is the full blown
Yeah.
bells and whistles, and the other one is just flat dock, and there's no fixing up of it.
It's just a photo of the other one.
Well, this is the one that they would want. Yeah, that they wanted to put.
It's a shade essentially.
It is. It's just a cover. I did verify with with her
Or
today.
you're
that
just,
it's
yeah, you're just saying permanent, whether you can walk on it or not. It's still a risen structure. Is that kind of what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yes.
This is kind of what they're wanting to replace this hairy thing with.
Yeah.
that's what I told her. Typically, like no changes are allowed other than a board for board repair, but this one was kind of a different scenario, so I didn't know.
Tropical tree account.
I know. I
Like
don't
the
know
ones
that
we
I've
have,
seen
but-
this.
They're cute when they're new, but
Yeah.
when they get a little worn, they.
Oh, yeah.
What would be the total height of the second one?
Let's see.
I think we have a restriction on that, do we not?
They
I
had
think it's
11 on there,
11.
so.
Yeah.
12 foot is the restriction.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
So we would like dimensions of both docks with height as well. Does dock B essentially, does it have a second layer like the sun shade, or
Mm-hmm.
whether you can walk on it or not? Is it, a risen structure?
She
Could-
did give me the number
Could
to
they provide the images?
call
Would
her
that be okay
husband
to
if
do
you
that?
guys want me to, or if you want to just wait for someone to go out
But as
there.
far as the dimensions,
Yeah, I know you're. I don't trust.
She gave me her husband's number to call tonight if anybody had any questions. So if you would like to do that, or if you just want to go ahead and table it for someone to go out there.
I still think that, we hire Sally to be the public officer to go out there and go over each and every one of these things that we have. And she is tied down with the sickness of her husband, but that doesn't mean that we still shouldn't be following somebody going out there and seeing every one of these that are on here before we make a decision.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, nobody's seen it. And I don't think we can vote on anything that nobody's seen.
I agree.
I just don't think it's.
I'm willing to drive somebody out there if they want to go.
we made a motion in a second to table.
You have any further discussion on that?
Who's gonna get pictures then?
Well, let's get through this first and decide who's gonna get pictures.
I agree. We've made a motion. Let's table it to the next meeting. That gives us time to get out there and get it looked at. So rephrase how your motion was, please.
All encompass 58 West Flint Hills Drive dock transfer and 470 West Flint Hills dock permit.
Okay, Mike did go out, just FYI, and look at the 470 West Flint Hills Drive. He met the guy who's going to do the work out there. So Mike did, he actually took these pictures. So just FYI on that.
Good enough.
Then do not include 470 in my motion.
Rephrase the motion, please, the way you want it read.
I'll move to table 327 East Flint Hills dock permit and 58 West Flint Hills dock drive transfer.
Transition.
Got it.
Yeah,
I got it. Yeah.
So we have a motion to table 327 and 58 West Flint Hill Drives to the next meeting. Is that correct?
Correct.
And I will second them.
And seconded by Tim.
For discussion on the dock transfer, are we gonna hold up a real estate sale? That's my question. I know it's typically done at the very end of that, but I don't want to be holding that up over a technicality. We usually just rubber stamp dock transfers, so I would ask that question.
I would also say they could have had it in 2 weeks ago.
We not discussed it till the lake
The
meeting.
15th,
though.
yeah,
That's-
I didn't.
I don't know.
It was not in the picture.
58.
Is it one right below it on the agenda? Any further discussion on tabling this? Discussion?
None for me. No.
Are those in favor of tabling? Those opposed?
I'm sorry, but to vote in favor of. I was middle of reading.
Okay.
I'm in favor of.
Show of hands one more time in favor of tabling it to the next meeting. Those in favor? Okay, 2 in favor. Those opposed? 3 opposed.
I'll just go ahead and move to approve the dock transfer 58 West Bournemouth Drive, 2 docks, Dutton to Wilson.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the transfer of 2 docks from Tyler and Monica Dutton to Byron and Myra Wilson. And we have a second. Any discussion? Those in favor? Those opposed? 3 to 2 in favor. Okay. 470 West Flint Hills Drive permit.
So, like I said, Mike did meet them out here, the guy that was gonna do the work. A letter from the Corps of Engineers, and as you can see, their shoreline is deteriorating, so they are wanting to fix that. They're wanting to go in with the native stone, like the landscaping.
And has anyone been out there to see this property?
Mike has, yes.
Anybody besides Mike?
No, not that I'm aware.
And what Mike say about the property?
He was, I mean, fine with it. He took the pictures. He didn't say. He said it was deteriorating and that they probably needed to do something, but that was it. Kind of hazardous, but
I should have a drawing of what their final product is. Want to look like.
Is there anyone here for 470 West Flint Hills Drive? Anyone here? No. They're repaired with wood. Is that what that's supposed to mean?
no. So it says it will be
Is that their name? Their
constructed.
name is wood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So it'll be constructive, 14-inch native stone, approximately 4.5 inches in height. 4.5 feet in height.
Yeah.
I'm like inches in height. Yeah, I see now.
It does look like 2, doesn't it?
Yeah. So they'll go back in with like stone and looks like boulders, river rock, small plant material. Midwest turf will be doing work.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve the repair of the retaining wall at 47 Flint Hills Drive, and we have a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Those opposed? Passed. 5-0. Northline County Youth Association. Anyone here from that?
I don't think so. So you
Okay.
guys did this, if you remember, a couple years ago,
Mhm.
and then they didn't end up having it because I think it was 2020, but they had it last year, and the gas fund had donated like 2 little tricycles. Yeah. So they were just asking for a donation this year. I think we used it as like a gas.
This is that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Like
gonna say, this is that thing
the
Mike
one,
did, wasn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
Didn't they have pamphlets down there
They
too or
did,
something?
yeah.
Yeah.
Is this
So
an
we can use it as-
advertisement for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I should take a copy and put it in the packet.
Is this something he's wanting to do as a guest advertisement, or did Mike know about it or anything?
Yeah, he knows about it. Yeah.
It's because we serve them, their
Mhm.
community with gas is why we're helping them out. So,
Are they wanting items, or are they asking money?
yeah, what is it that they're asking for?
Well, I think whatever you guys would be willing to do.
Also, they come up to the grocery store. I have people from Admire and Allen come up here. I think they just like us.
So
And if you want to know, it's proceeds will be used to ensure the continued operation of the North Lyon County Child Development Center and upkeep of the historic Allen schools as their community center. So this would be a donation. A donation.
Terry, are they having a raffle or something like that?
They are having, according to this, they're having a silent auction, but
Yeah.
it doesn't say what they're going to be.
So I
Well,
I
is
think you
there an
could do
address?
either, like you guys could do a check and they would apply.
Well, I'd like to donate too to that. So do they have a number?
There's an
something I can
address,
call?
Yeah.
there's an
I can
address
get
and
you
a phone
this.
number.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
can make you a copy of this, okay?
Thanks.
It's appropriate, $100.
I need a motion first, please.
That's what I was thinking.
Move we donate $100 to the North Lyon County Youth Association.
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve a $100 donation with a second. Any further discussion?
The only thing that somebody had asked me when I was bringing this up is, do you think that their internet provider donates anything for them? What about their water plant? What about, name your
Two.
utility?
Yeah, I don't.
As
I
a
don't
person
have
who
any idea.
regularly begs other people, I'll ask anybody.
You are an
For money.
exceptional
Sounds like we should ask the
donation.
North Lyon County Youth Association.
I'll add them to my list.
You're an exceptional person.
Well, I would like to think that they're
It's-
asking other entities
Oh,
for
absolutely.
funds as well,
Well,
but
I'm sure they are.
because
Sure.
we don't have any way of knowing without asking that.
You could probably ask like SNA, isn't that SNA telephone or whatever down there? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know about you guys, but I've had internet problems all day today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
All day today. It's no big plus signs for our internet service today, that's for
Hey.
sure.
My Starlink's shipping anytime now, so I'll
So
let you know how it
mine.
goes.
My mom just got it too.
Your Starlink is at the
Satellite.
Musk.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, yeah, I want to get
They're
that
watching
too.
us anyway. So
Well, it only took me a month to get the confirmation, so maybe now's the time to go for it.
Yeah,
So I understand that once this becomes a full-fledged thing, it's like $9 a month. So I don't know if that sounds right or not, but that's what I heard in the very beginning.
Oh, I
All
don't
right,
know.
let's get on with this North Lyon County donation. Any further discussion on that?
No.
Okay, we had a motion to approve $100, a motion to approve $100 and a second to approve $100. All in favor? Those opposed? Okay, 4-1, approved. Okay, next on new city business is employee pay.
So I asked Stephanie to put this on the agenda. Just last time our city employees got a raise was at the end of 2020. Right now, of course, everybody who's been to a grocery store or tried to pay for gas or energy or whatever has noticed, inflation is very high right now. The government consumer price index hit a new high of 7.9%. Here recently, that very undercounts in my opinion, but I can leave my opinions out of this, that they don't tend to capture inflation very well. When natural gas has doubled, gasoline is probably almost doubled from last year. I mean, there's so many things have gone up, meat, anything you buy. So, I know that, I'm not trying to keep pace with that, but I'm not trying to, I want to try to, help our employees keep up with that, I guess is what I am proposing. That we propose a raise somewhere in the neighborhood of 4%. I know that it's been talked about before. We haven't done performance reviews for a while. I don't think it's inappropriate to conduct those at all. And, you know, I just throw that out that, you know, I think that we need to try to get the ball rolling. I'll share just a couple things you know, I noticed a sign up at the post office that, you know, basically, you know, $25 an hour to, you know, help build. And I thought it said minimal experience necessary or something like that. You know, when you can just, you know, walk out of a city job and get a raise like that with, you know, where working for the city, you have quite a bit of technical responsibility, you have certifications, you have all that, you know, but yet you could find a lot better deal, you know, doing something like that. I think we need to try to be competitive with the market. The other thing is I don't know, probably less relevant, but you know, Sam's Club is trying to find somebody for tire. You know, they don't even have their tire shop open right now because everybody to work. They've got a sign that says the tire shop is closed until further notice, and a sign next to it that says they're hiring 4 people immediately at $17 an hour starting. You know, I just think that what we pay our employees needs to try to change, and we need to try to be competitive with the market. So I would at least propose, if people were amicable to it, some kind of performance reviews with raises at the end of those. And I don't know what that looks like. A timetable, maybe direct Mike to do performance reviews over the next couple weeks and bring that, would be a city meeting, to the next meeting. I know that's kind of more of your area, so that's proposing, but
I think first thing we should do is follow our own employee handbook that says that an employee evaluation must be made not more than 60 days from the date that we want to start talking about doing a pay raise. So if we start today, we have 60 days. They have 60 days in which to get their evaluations turned in so that we can review them and decide whether or not they're getting a raise. And that isn't in your employee handbook. I saw for the first time today what these performance reviews look like, and I don't object to using that one. I'd like to tweak it a little bit to include a couple of things that's on my mind about that. And that's something we need to discuss and decide amongst us to put that together and let the employees be aware of it and what's in that, so that it helps them determine just what kind of employee they're wanting to be, so to speak. Do they really want a good raise? Do they want a mediocre raise? Do they not want a raise at all? So that's what the evaluations boil down to. If we don't have evaluations on the employees every year, they have no way to gauge themselves just to determine whether they're doing a good enough job or not. So that's my thought on that. And I don't think we have the legality to give them a raise without those evaluations. That's, so anybody want to comment on that?
no, I think we have legality to do whatever we want. I mean, all we have to do is make a motion, but that's.
Well, I'm gonna veto it. I'll tell you right now, if you make a motion to pass a pay raise for the employees without the evaluations, I will veto it. Because
with all due respect, you can't, but that's
with all due respect, I can veto just about anything that goes on in this office, and then you guys are going to end up having to argue about it.
no, too bad he's not here.
Well, I know it. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm not trying to argue. Here's what I'm saying. For the sake of argument. What I'm saying is, I don't want the city council to violate any resolution that we've got, any ordinance we've got, or any code that we've got. If you want to violate it, then change it first, and then we'll do it the way you want it. Okay? Change the handbook, change the code, whatever you want to do, change it first, and then I'm good for it. I'm good for it. But I don't want to set the precedent that we can do what we want.
Yeah,
And
I
if it
think that's
violates-
fair, Terry.
And I appreciate you saying that. So if you want to give them a raise, if you want to vote for them a raise tonight, first thing you need to do is change the handbook, what it says.
Well, what does the 60 days, I guess I haven't read that particular section that
So there
requires
has to be a
that.
performance review before a pay raise can be given.
Okay.
And the performance
Within
review,
60 days.
performance review cannot be more than 60 days old. And there's
Cannot be more than.
cannot be more than 60 days old. So they can do a performance review tomorrow and turn it in, and we can vote on it in 2 weeks. We can discuss it and vote on it within 2 weeks, but we're following what the handbook says to do.
Now, is that the employee basically rating themselves?
No, that is Mike rating Jim and
Oh,
Drew,
okay.
and it is myself rating Mike and Stephanie.
That's
So I don't mean to be sarcastic, you guys, but since I've been mayor, you guys know how I feel about our ordinances. I'm very strong with that. I don't mind you tearing the ordinance apart and rewriting it so you can get something that you want to do. But we're following the ordinance as it's written. So if you want to change an ordinance, change it, and then we'll follow it, and I'm good for it. I'm not gonna.
okay. Well, I mean, in that regard, I guess I'd just say I'd like to get the ball rolling. And I
Sure.
think we need to, and I mean, gosh, we haven't done evaluations. I want to say, because I sent you those samples today,
Right.
and those were from 2016.
Mhm.
And I don't think do you remember since 2016, have we done an evaluation? I mean, that's,
I don't know if Mike has done.
I'm pretty sure that
evaluations.
Mike did evaluations on the guys, not to interrupt you.
I mean, does he have?
He was doing evaluations, but I don't think that when Dolly was mayor in the 4 years that she ever did an evaluation on Stephanie or Mike.
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's something we need to get in the cycle of doing. And I agree with Terry on that. And it does say right here, each employee shall be evaluated at least once every 12 months. So in terms of getting here and following the procedures that are already in place, I mean, that's something that, we haven't failed or we failed to do for the last 6
Yeah.
years.
And I'm not knocking you guys for that. Please understand that. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that I don't want to be in a position where I've got to defend violating our own rules.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, that's,
Terry, to
that's fair.
clarify something, the last time that we did have it, Mike turned down any raise. He wanted the guys to get a raise, and so he did an evaluation on the boys, Drew, and anyway, the boys at the end, and he wanted he did not want to put in for a raise because he wanted them to get a raise, and that was approved. And then we did one on Stephanie.
Okay, well, please understand that Mike's not the one who decides whether they get a raise or not. Mike
No,
does the
I realize
evaluation,
that,
we
but
review
that
it,
was
and we
his
make that
proposal,
decision.
because he wanted them to get a certain amount, bring them up to a certain level.
And there again,
With
Mike
it.
doesn't make that determination. Mike
He was
does the
supervisor, and
evaluation, he
was saying
turns
that
it to
he
us,
wanted
and
not
we
to do it.
determine
Yeah,
the raise, if it's warranted or not, and the amount that we give them.
I know.
Okay. I just want it cleared. I'm not against the pay raises, guys, just the right way, okay? Just do it the right way. That's all I'm asking.
I'll second. Was that a motion?
There hasn't been.
There hasn't been a motion.
No, I don't know. So I
forward.
thought I'll move to
Start the process at
start
least.
the
I mean,
process within, let's just, what do we say, by next time, or is that too short? Is that,
well, here's
You
what,
wanna do
here's
2
what
meetings?
here's what I suggest. As a council, you tell the mayor to direct Mike to do the evaluations, which in turn tells me to do one for Stephanie and Mike. And then have it done before the next meeting. Well, Mike's out of town from now until Friday, so is it fair to give him just 1 week's notice?
I don't
No.
think it is. No.
So do you want to,
Because the next week he may be playing catch up.
that could be true.
Yeah.
So you want to,
Let's do 2 meetings from now. So let's
right,
do,
let's give him till, what's the first meeting
So
date?
that would
April?
be the
April what?
April, it'll be the April 25th.
Yeah.
Would be the second meeting in April.
April 25th?
It was the second meeting.
Okay, okay, all right, okay,
April
Wow.
starts Friday. Just
yeah.
just bring you up.
Yeah.
This year is going.
Wait, you're an April Fool's birthday.
Yes, and
mother instead of him.
Doesn't that explain?
all right. Good thing these meetings aren't on Friday nights, isn't it? Okay, so we have a motion to table, no, not to table, but we have a motion to discuss employee pay raises
yeah, on the
on the
25th.
25th of April.
Yeah.
And
It's,
actually, there's going to be basically two. You've got to direct me to do this, and then
do you want to have that? Do you want to direct Mike to have it done by the Friday before to give you time to review what Mike has submitted you?
that's not, that wouldn't be necessary. We can
Okay.
do it that night because we're all going to review it anyway ourselves and counter it or whatever if we don't believe what he's written.
Okay.
And I'm also going to propose, because it's not timely for us to really jump into a decision, I'm going to delay postponing the adjustment of how that review is written. We'll continue to use the review that was printed the last time.
Okay.
Is everybody taking a look at it to see
Yeah.
what it says?
No, I haven't sent it out or anything. I just sent it to you because we were talking
Okay.
about today. That's what the
That's
For years
that was the
now.
form that they used last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get copies made of that form. Let's get it to the city council people, and I'll get them. We'll put them in Mike's inbox, and I'll get a couple. So we need to make that a record that I'm being directed to do this.
Was it in your motion to direct him to start doing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you heard that, didn't you?
I
No.
thought-
I didn't quite hear it exactly that way.
I'll just say, and that's. I think we have an agreement of how we're going to proceed. So.
So
So second.
has everybody looked at that evaluation sheet? Right, just brush over it right quickly.
Go for it.
If you're good, if you're good with the last one that went out, then it's exactly the same.
The last time we
It's the
did
same
an
one we
evaluation.
used last time? And I'm good with it.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty
I don't
good.
know.
You rate them from 0 to 5 on
Pretty
20 different things, and and there's a comment section for each, and then a large comment section at the end.
And then sometime before the next evaluation, we will get together and we'll go over that. And I'll make some suggestions on tweaking a few things. And then you guys can throw your comment on it. Either like my suggestions or you don't. I think it's pretty obvious that some of you don't like some of the things I say. And
Here,
that's
I've
okay.
liked a lot of the stuff
That's
you said.
okay.
Let's clarify that.
That's okay. And,
I mean,
and that's
you could
okay.
always-
That's what this is all about. That's fine.
You could always improve that by tailoring goals for the individual, and that's
Yeah.
that would be the only thing that really it's put together pretty well, but that would be my only
Evaluation.
criticism of it is to have a section of next time we go over this, here's the things that you work on and how did you do.
Right. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
So.
Okay. Do we have any further discussion on this? So we have a motion to direct the mayor to get the evaluation started and to have them presented to the council at the meeting on April 25th.
I guess I'll send it down.
And we have a second. Brad, I think you seconded, is that correct?
I did.
Or Tim did. Motion made by Justin and seconded by Tim.
Okay.
Those in favor. Oh, somebody have a question? Did you have a question? No? Anybody? Okay, I thought I heard a, okay, those in favor. Okay, and opposed, nobody, 5-0. Okay.
When you first mentioned the 60 days, I thought you were saying,
We couldn't do it for 60 days.
yeah, we do the review, then you gotta wait 2 months.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I wasn't very clear on that. But if the evaluation was more than 60 days old, it wouldn't have been.
That makes a little bit more sense.
Yes,
Then you have to wait 60 days.
okay.
All right, we're fine.
Okay,
So-
next on the agenda, mayor/council pay.
Well, similarly, I asked Stephanie to put this on the agenda as well. So it's the most awkward thing in the world, trying to, vote yourself in a pay increase.
You're not a very good politician then.
No, I'm not.
He's not. That's why we like him
That's
so
accurate.
much.
Yes.
I don't know. I've been here the longest on the council. Since I've been here in late 2010, that hasn't changed the rate of pay for the meetings. So it was earlier that year in 2010, the last time that it did change. But so if you go in, I already gave that spiel of inflation earlier. But if you go in and you type into Google, what's the value of $1 in 2010 today, you get $1.30 roughly. So 30% inflation since that, just the cumulative effects, and throw out all say what you will about the government CPI number and their undercounting and, you know, so they can get by with paying their, you know, people on government programs and everything less money. So they can purposely undercount. But what this is basically it raises the pay for city council compensation per meeting by $10. That to a total of 45 per meeting. It changes the mayors a little bit. Basically, if there's 2 meetings a month, Terry would still make the same as right now. He makes basically double what the council makes. Right now, the council makes 35. He makes 70, and so I'm proposing to go to 45 for us. So that would be 90 a month for what I would say a regular month would be, and Terry would be basically 180. But I'm proposing changing the structure to $60 fixed. It says $60 per month for administrative duties and appearing on behalf of the city at outside meetings and other appointments involving city matters. It actually came directly from a similar ordinance for Lecompton that Todd had on hand when he sent that to me, and I thought, well, that kind of makes sense. And then actually lowering what Terry makes per meeting from right now to is $70 to $60. So the $60 fixed, the other $260 would be $180. So it would be still double us. So the other thing is work sessions. Right now we currently do not get compensated for work sessions, so I am proposing.
Or special meetings.
Well,
No,
special
special
meetings we do get.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
A meeting.
Pardon me.
Work sessions don't, yeah. I didn't know that either until probably last year, so don't worry.
I'm a newbie, sorry.
Work sessions, I'm just proposing 30 session attended. But I did want to put something on there because, like just for example, if I see Terry, at the post office and talk to him for an hour about city business, we can't call that a special meeting that we had. So that was something I wanted to put in here. I said to be eligible for compensation, work session must be scheduled in advance to meet at a particular place and time, not initiate spontaneously. A work session shall discuss sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Work session shall consist of discussion of city strategy or other topics of interest to the city, must be at least 30 minutes in length, and all members of the governing body shall be invited to attend. So that's just, if all those are met, then the work session's eligible for being compensated. So basically that's what I would propose. If anybody wants a copy and wants to sit on until the next meeting, that's fine. I did get this cleared with Todd. He said legally it's fine. So
Do we need a time period on how far in advance? No?
what's that?
On the work sessions, because it just says must be scheduled in advance to meet a particular place and time.
Okay, just have a copy of that. Sorry, I did ask
Oh,
Stephanie to
you're
put
good.
that in there. But
Oh, you don't,
We do that anyway, don't we?
You don't have it?
Is there-
Don't
yeah,
we
we
schedule
do. I
work
have it.
sessions
Yeah.
in advance?
Is there a time
Yeah.
period already?
you guys all have it in your packet.
I do.
Okay.
I'm reading it.
it just goes back to that
I read it
example that I
directly.
gave.
Oh, okay.
I can't see you on the street or see Annie
Right.
or whatever.
Right, they
and
call it a work
it's like,
session.
well, Annie and I, talked about city topics for an hour, when we saw each other. It just tries to keep that from, by saying everybody should at least be invited. Not necessarily everybody attend, but they need to be invited. So
I was just asking if there was a certain period of time in advance of the meeting. Because I know sometimes that's a thing
No.
with meetings, right? Or do you guys already have rules
Well,
for that? I don't know.
I think the minimum time frame for a session is 3 days notice.
Okay.
Does that sound right? 3 days? I think that's what it is.
I think so. But then there's also something that kind of gives the exceptions for when you can go around that when something is so urgent that you really, but
Okay.
like 3 days is, yep. So that's essentially what it is.
Now, the only reason I took this job was for the pay, so I got a question on it. It says an additional $60 for administrative duties and appearing on behalf of the city at outside meetings. So for example, the 29th and 30th of April, I'll be 2 days at $60 per day or $60 for the 2 days combined?
It was just meant to be a $60 per month fixed,
Flat fee.
a flat fee.
And then, and
So that-
nothing extra for the extra day I'm down.
So I mean, that would be what the $60 would essentially go towards is those, yeah.
So I'll be there
You're
for
going there
16
anyway,
hours.
but-
In this case, I'll be there roughly 16 hours for $60.
Well, you don't get paid
Well, yeah.
anything now, do you?
But there may be,
If I don't go, I don't get paid.
there may be many months where you don't have a particular engagement like that to go to, and you get $60.
Yeah, I just want to get that myself or somebody in the future that's sitting here doesn't question that as well.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. I can go into the reasons why. I guess I thought that was, I don't know. I thought,
Well, I mean, it makes sense because not every month I'm going to be out doing something that requires me to be gone for a couple of days.
yeah. Well, and I mean, I guess right now you basically make 2 times what the city council person makes. And I think you do a lot outside of this. And, you know, I certainly think that's warranted. If you should happen to miss a meeting, you know, under this type of structure, that would be $90 that,
Mhm.
you know, is just, you know, you don't get that. Never mind that the fact that you still have things that you're doing on the outside of that. So that's part of what it came from. The other part of what it came from is, you know, just, you know, not to have, you know, meeting after meeting after meeting. If we have a lot of meetings, then, you know, $90 a meeting, that starts to get, could pile up quickly. So that would kind of tame that because it does move the per meeting down from where it is now. So that was kind of what I was thinking. You know, honestly, it's probably going to balance out in the end. It's probably all going to be for naught. But, you know, when I saw that in the Lecompton
Well,
ordinance,
we
it's
can,
like, oh,
we
that,
can certainly follow something and then review it.
Yeah.
If it's too much, then take it out, change it.
yeah. I mean, right now, just for a normal type of month, you know, 2 meetings a month, everything would be preserved. So, I mean, you know, you'd still make 2 times what we make. So that's it. That's all I want to talk on that. It is awkward bringing it up. So
Anybody else want to add or comment on that? Suggestions? You want more money than $45 a meeting?
start
You need more information?
45, 50, 55.
The only thing that I wanted to know was what similar towns of similar size, what do they pay? Because I don't want to be that town that gets paid way more than everybody else.
I don't think you have to worry about that. I did call a couple of cities. I did call a couple of towns, and only one of them responded to me, and she was very enthusiastic about telling me everything that they do, and the others never responded. So they were either keeping it to themselves or they don't read your emails, one or the other. I'm not
What
sure.
was the town?
I knew you were going to ask that as soon as I started talking about it. If I had known this is on here, I would have brought my notes on that. But it was, I'm thinking it was Maple Hill. Yes, Maple Hill is where it was, and they do things totally different than anybody I've ever heard of. For example, they no longer, and I know this isn't, we're not talking employees, but just to give you an example, they no longer pay the insurance for the employees. But instead, what they did is they pay them. They added that to their salary starting this year. So, for example, if the city paid $2,000 towards their health care last year, they did away with paying for their health care, but gave them a raise in their pay of $2,000 to compensate for it. And then the employee has to go out and find their own health insurance. That's one example.
So you're saying, so essentially the city's saving money because they're not having to pay increases
Year after year. That's really what it boiled down to. However, Tim asked a question about what about their spouse? Whatever the employee paid in 2021 for health insurance, which includes not only themselves, but their family. And I'm using 2000 as the example because I don't have a clue what you guys pay for that. But if they made $30,000 a year, then 2022 they were given $32,000, and they provide their own health insurance from that point forward.
So they pay for the year. They don't pay for.
The city no longer pays the Maple employees.
They just increase their salary.
They also
Surely that's like for a month. would think.
I've had some
Like-
self-pay that's about $1,200 a month.
I was gonna say, like,
Yeah, I know, and that's
For
what I
a
said.
you
family.
I,
have like
And that's what I
multiple
said, I don't know.
employees, I mean, that would.
I don't know what
don't
they
know.
pay for health insurance.
Yeah, I didn't,
I
and
have a
it's,
pretty good idea from what
it's
I've seen.
complex, yeah.
From what I've seen, I've got a pretty good idea. But that's what Maple Hill does. They also have one meeting a month, and they pay the council members $100 per meeting. And there was a compensation for a work session was like $50. And like I said, don't quote me on that, please, because I've got my notes and I'll be more accurate with that. The city clerk in Maple Hill, with her health insurance being put in there, was making around, I want to say, $55,000 a year. And so, and they only had one employee. They both made the exact same amount of money, which makes me wonder, what the heck does Maple Hill do to generate that kind of money?
They have a higher
That's a norm.
tax, yeah.
It's their tax rate.
They have expensive houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a new subdivision and stuff.
A lot of those
They're-
were bought up by that church and now they don't get their property taxes
They
now
need to
because
do
the
away
church
with that
owns it.
whole church thing.
But
I
that's,
don't know about that. My aunt lives in the subdivision,
This is
so I doubt
coming
that.
from a person that
Yeah,
lives on
she's
Main
not one of
Street in
those-
Maple
When the
Hill.
church, when they
Still
buy the
paying
house,
it.
the church goes on the title as well, on the deed.
What, do they rent it?
But they still have to pay.
If they rent
Taxes.
it, they would have to pay taxes. But I guess if they,
Depends on
Depends on
stop
who
paying
owns it,
taxes.
who they rent it from.
it's the owner that pays taxes.
that's true.
And the church does
When-
not pay
when the-
taxes.
When the.
Yeah, but neither does
Not
the
for a
city, but
personal
the city
property.
pays
Yes.
taxes like on the caretaker house
Most of
because
the homes in
we,
St. Mary's are owned by the church.
because we get money, we
What?
generate
Right.
revenue from it. If you generate
I
revenue
feel
from
like
it, you have
this
to pay taxes,
conversation is
whether or not you're tax
unprovable.
exempt.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we pay taxes on the caretaker house.
Okay, so
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me.
I just think.
that's just one example. I called the Alta Vista, didn't get a response. I called the Alma, didn't get a response. I didn't say call. I sent emails because they didn't answer the phone when I called, so I sent them an email instead. So that's all I know about it, and you can't really compare our city to Emporia or Manhattan or Topeka, just because of their hours are totally different. The council meets and they're a larger city. They have other responsibilities. They're compensated for all those other responsibilities as well. So it's going to be hard to figure or find communities that are very close to what we do to compare.
We're bigger, but has anyone, did you reach out to Harveyville at all?
No, but we sell water and we sell gas,
Mhm.
and Harveyville don't.
No,
Yeah.
they do.
They might sell water, but they're not selling gas, are they?
They do sell gas.
So we sell them gas and they resell it.
Mhm.
Okay.
They
But there
A
again,
lot fewer customers.
I was gonna
They
say,
do,
I was
yeah,
gonna
so
say,
you'd have to keep that in mind, but
comparable in
it's
size,
just,
they're not close to us.
I don't know, are they? What's their population?
They're two something.
Okay.
They're
Well,
about,
we're 500.
yeah.
yeah, we're like 420 now.
We're twice as big as them.
What?
We
We
lost
have how many?
89 people between the 2010 and 2020 census.
You're kidding.
No, it's like 20% of the town. I think they undercounted.
I think so
Oh,
too.
they did.
I didn't think we lost that many
We got
people.
more than that.
I think we got,
What'd you say, 2010
Screwed
to
over in that.
2020?
yeah.
We have
That's
people and-
crazy.
we have
Yep.
people and a lot of kids. Lots of
Yeah.
That's
kids.
what the census says, then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
We
think
can't
their
say
paperwork
anything
was right
different.
this year. They told me several, like,
I never
I
got
filled
the
my whole
first
thing
census, so I don't know how many people were in
I
that
filled my
group,
whole
but-
online one out and we
Yeah.
never, yeah, sorry, we're
So
derailing.
that,
I'm
well,
doing-
there's maybe
I'm
less
not doing
people
it.
to walk around
So
now
do
on my
we-
survey.
Can we motion on this right now or?
Yeah, you
Yeah, we
guys-
can. I don't know if people wanted time to stew on it or whatever, but I'm fine with doing either. I'm just throwing it out there. So.
you gotta
I'd
start-
say
you
I'm
gotta
not
start
for
somewhere.
decreasing Terry's pay in any capacity. We just sat here and this is totally different. We're council members, employees. You're wanting to do it like, I think it's ludicrous to cap somebody off because you think they make too much money.
I don't think we're capping them at all. Do you see what the math works out here as far as the
But you're taking away money if we were gonna have an extra meeting.
extra meeting?
Correct, and you're not for us. You're giving
Yeah.
yourself more money, but taking away his, and I've never been the mayor,
All right, that's
but I can think
that's fair.
Dolly
But
can attest.
but if he misses
that
one, then
Yeah.
It's a lot
Then I lose
from a
some
lot
money.
of people on a regular basis.
misses one, then you don't lose as much
Well,
money. Then
I think
So I don't
everybody,
know.
I think everybody here, except maybe the folks sitting back there, know that my wife and I go to Europe for a couple of months, at least once every 2 years. And I certainly wouldn't want to get paid for the time I'm gone.
well,
And
But couldn't you zoom
Yeah.
into those meetings?
I could, but it's like 2 o'clock in the morning
Well,
in
what-
Europe when it's 7 o'clock here.
Yeah.
So you're not going to.
Would you want to? Would you want to zoom in?
What's your preference?
I don't
Jerry?
know.
Prefer something
Well,
like
I'm
this?
gone.
Do you
I'm
prefer something
God,
like
I don't want to talk to
fixed
any of you.
amount per meeting like it's been?
I'm at the
Well,
mercy
okay,
of the
It's called a
council.
vacation for
I
a
know,
reason.
but what would
My preference would be to be paid if you're to be honest, my preference would be to be paid for what I do. So for example, the meetings, the work sessions, the special sessions, if I go on a mayor's conference somewhere and I'm gone 2 days, I would think I would get compensation for driving there because I don't have a company vehicle that's worthy of driving somewhere. And if I'm staying overnight, I would expect per diem and hotel paid for and the time spent at the meeting. It could be, I wouldn't complain if it was considered the same pay for getting a meeting such as this. That's what I'm saying. Now, if it's with this here meeting, if it was set at 2 hours, and that's how we're judging the pay, then it could be fluctuated. If I spend 8 hours on Friday at a mayor's council meeting, and then 4 hours on Saturday, I don't think it would be fair to get the same pay on Friday that I'd get on Saturday because I'm only there half the time.
But if you got $75 both days, work out. It would average out. So.
If I got $100 each day, it'd work out too. So, you know, it's how you guys want to look at it. I have to agree with what Brett's saying though a little bit. It does sound like it's being punitive to.
it was not meant to be.
Well, and that's okay. I understand, and I understand where you're going with that, and I appreciate that input because I think what might be in the back of your mind, maybe not, it might be in your subconscious. When I first come in here, I said there's a lot of things that need to be changed. You guys remember that? Because there's going to be a lot of work sessions where I have to get through to get stuff fixed. And with that in mind, if you start paying for all these sessions, then what's to stop any one of us from creating more sessions to do things? So I understand where you're going, where it needs to be set somehow so that we don't abuse that. Because that could happen. But I also feel like that if things were running like they really should be all the way along, we wouldn't have the necessity for all these work sessions to get things done. And that's going to be the toughest part, getting that turned around, getting that fixed, so to speak. So as far as pay for the mayor, like I said, I'm at y'all's mercy, whatever you decide.
I can change that and, strike, declared to be $60 per meeting attended and replace that with declared to be $90 per meeting attended and just period, strike the rest of the sentence. Put that.
I think
So-
you guys already have something in place for when the mayor goes outside of town for meetings and things, do you not?
Justin's the mayor. Aren't you when the mayor's on?
No, that's not
He
what I'm
means
talking about.
for
I'm talking about as far as
meeting.
approval to go to meetings, approval for compensation while the mayor's gone at those meetings. I think you already have something
Honestly,
there.
I don't know that the mayor makes anything other than these, per city meeting.
Mhm.
Right.
That's,
Yeah.
I mean, I think per diem is reasonable. I think taking care of somebody while they're, meals on the company card, so to speak, and the hotel room on the same, but that's.
And not to change the subject, but I don't want to forget it. That's where I'm bringing it up. Mike's going to be gone. He left tonight. He won't be back till Friday. I think he needs to be compensated for his per diem, not per diem, but yeah, his per diem while he's gone to Wichita.
Oh yeah, I would say that
And I don't
every
think-
meal he has is
And I told him
on the
today.
city dime.
Yeah, he and I talked about that today, and I told him today to bring receipts for everything that he spends on food and all that, and then we'll present it to the council. But I don't really think there's going to be a problem getting it approved.
Yeah.
Terry,
We have
that's what they did in
Yeah.
the past. They kept the
Hmm.
receipts. in
We
the
have
Yeah,
a
as long as they
second.
bring them seats and turn them in, I think he's
They
gonna be
just keep-
covered.
Hey,
Do they have a
typically in
card?
the past, yes.
Do you guys, okay,
Yes.
I thought
We do.
so, but yeah,
Yes, we have cards and they always keep receipts. And typically
Okay.
how it's I think they get time for
Well, he acted like he acted like he wasn't aware of being compensated. So that's okay. He said, I gotta buy my lunch anyway. Well, that's
But
not the
the
point. That's not the point.
DM thing. I guess I don't know if I
Oh,
understand.
So he is,
Yeah,
he's taking a company truck, so we have to worry about.
You're gonna have to pay them mileage.
Isn't
If
per
it
diem
hits the truck.
calculated by the city that they're in or something?
Yes, it's based on the city. For example, Omaha. probably
yeah, I guess I'm saying, I know some places pay like a flat per diem, and then, if a person, uses the out of the way motel, then they get to keep some of that in their pocket. But I guess when I'm saying per diem, I would clarify that as saying the actual cost of the hotel they're staying, the actual cost
Sure,
of the meals that
sure.
they incur.
and we can establish that.
up
That's
to-
true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything. There might be something in the handbook that says, $25 a meal or something, whatever's appropriate. But
Yeah.
a lot of times you go to the conferences like that, you'll get vendors and
And that's
They'll
what Mike,
schmooze you anyway,
and Mike
and
said
that's-
that. Mike,
yeah.
Mike told me that. He said, if we have vendors down and providing lunch, then I'm not gonna gig you for that. So, and I said, well, I appreciate that. But I think he is taking a company vehicle down there, so we don't have to worry about paying mileage.
yeah, I think that's appropriate too. So
But anyway, getting back on this, I want you guys to remember that that's about to happen. So do you want further discussion on this? What do you guys want to do?
Personally, I'd like to look it all over and not make a decision on it the first night that I read it or hear about it. I didn't know that this was coming in this complexity. So
yeah, that's fine too.
That's fine.
I'll move to table the draft ordinance for mayor and council pay till the next meeting.
I will second it, provided that I get an email to me so that I can look it over. And I promise I will try to read it.
It's in your packet.
Oh, it is.
But yes, I will still get it.
Okay, we have a motion to table this discussion till the next meeting, which would now be April 11th.
Mhm.
I was trying to do the math. And we have a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor? 5-0. Okay. Do what? Okay. Okay. Let's go on to the next item on the agenda, other or continuing council business. Do we have anything?
I have something I'd like to bring up.
Okay.
I was approached by someone that saw you and Tim and Brett coming out of City Hall about 6:30 at night. And I was asked if we were having a special meeting. And I said, well, no. I said, I'm not aware of any special meeting. I said, and besides, in order to have a special meeting, we'd have to have more of the city council there. And I said, it's always announced so the public can attend.
Okay.
And the person was rather concerned. Well, what were they talking about? I said, I don't have a clue.
Okay. And I can-
Excuse me,
Go
I'm
ahead.
not done yet.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And it concerns me because this person, and I don't know how many other people, have concerns about transparency of our government body
Mhm.
here. And it makes me a little leery to just hand over my trust when stuff like this goes on. And I don't know, it doesn't look good for us. It wasn't illegal, but I feel it was unethical. Because, did you know about that meeting?
No.
Did you?
No.
I didn't either.
Well, that makes 4 of us in.
No, you were there.
That's what they said. And you said it was on a Tuesday night?
No, I did not say
Oh,
it was on
okay.
a Tuesday
What-
night.
When did
I
this
didn't
occur?
say what night.
Do you know when it was?
I don't know the exact date because they did not write it down for me. They didn't, excuse me, just a minute, please. They did not write it down at the time. But they did find it odd.
Okay.
And it upsets me that now people that live in this town are questioning what's going on. And that makes me question what's going on.
Okay. May I say something now?
Yes, you may.
Okay. I personally don't ever recall having a meeting with just Tim and just Brett on any given night since I've been mayor, whether it be at the city hall, the city park, the lake, my house, your house, their house. That's why I'm questioning what night it happened, because it might jog a memory if something went on. Now, we've had special council meetings where we've all walked out the door together at various times, and maybe they're referring to one of those nights. Now you're shaking your head no, as though you know the night that they're referring to. And I want to know the truth. When you guys tell me things, I want to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, simply because if you leave any one of those 3 elements out, it totally distorts the picture. So it could have happened on a night we had a special council meeting. It could have happened on a night like tonight that everybody leaves and we're the last 3 to walk out the door. I don't know. And I'm going to sit here and honestly tell everyone in this room, I don't recall ever having a meeting with just these 2 guys, ever, since I've been mayor. And if we have, I want you to honestly tell the truth. If we have, I want to know when it was and what we talked about. And that would make a difference. But I'm not going to get upset because if somebody says something or is that person here tonight to defend themselves?
No, they didn't want to. They didn't want to come because is something funny?
I think it's inappropriate to start yelling at me when you're going off of what a person said.
Well,
you
listen,
didn't witness,
interrupting him.
hear, or see anything. Now you had your time to speak. I'm speaking to you. You didn't hear, witness, or see any of that. And the 3 of us here are telling you that that never happened. And you are sitting there saying that, yes, it did. So you're calling us a liar. Now, throw your hands up. So you're calling us a liar. That's exactly what you're doing. And you're raising your voice and expecting us not to try to defend ourselves. I question you now.
go ahead. But I am honest. And I don't have any agendas.
But his account, yours?
Excuse me. I don't have any personal agendas. No, I take that back. I have 2. I want to work to try to help make improvements in this city. And my second one is try to help work towards improving the relationship between the people of the lake and the people in the city. That's all I want.
Can I ask a quick question? At the very beginning of your story, you said 3 people were seen walking out of here, and I didn't hear you very well. Was it me, Brett, and Terry? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, well then I can guarantee you one of 2 things. Well, one of 3 things. Either they don't know who they saw for sure, or they're flat out lying, or it was on a meeting night. Because of my hours in Topeka, the only time that I'm coming out of this business is when we're having a meeting. I don't come in here during the daytime and visit with Stephanie. I sure don't have the freedom to come in here like a retired person who lives in town or somebody who works 27 jobs, all kinds of hours.
Okay, let's just leave it at this. It's you guys' word against a citizen in Eskridge. And let's leave it at that.
No, that's not fair. Because you're calling us out and we have the right to see our accuser, but it's just this person. And we don't know who this is and how honest this person is.
The person.
But now I'm still speaking.
Okay, excuse me.
There are several people in this town, some in this room right now, that have it in for some of the people sitting around this table. And they have been known to be extremely dishonest and backstabbing. So
I know.
I can't credit anything that you're saying if I don't know who it was that said it.
Okay. Now may I speak?
Sure.
Okay. The person did not want me to say their name, and they did not want to come to the meeting to tell what they saw because they were uncomfortable, afraid of retribution or whatever. But they just were not comfortable for whatever reason to come forward. So they asked me if I would say something. I said something. There it is.
I would like to say one more thing.
Yes.
Before these accusations was slung around, I really wish that you would have got with Stephanie and maybe checked out the cameras on the front of the building and actually took some time to look into, hey, have they been coming here at any, were you able to do any of that before this moment right here?
I was going to, but by the time this person came forward, got the guts enough to come forward, it was too late.
It's not too late now. It's not too late for you to go back now.
How long do they keep it on the camera?
I would have no idea because I've never had the need to do so.
Mine is 2 weeks.
Yeah, usually.
2 weeks?
The one at my.
Well,
I can't remember if it was a month or 2 weeks.
and I'm sorry, I thought about that too. But I was told that the cameras, they only held it for 2 weeks. And by that time, it was too late.
Okay, that was just a question I was asking.
Okay, and that's a very good question. Thank you.
Mhm.
Julie,
How are you guys done with that conversation?
still thinking about it.
Okay.
There might be another
I
comment to
have
make
something
on
to
that.
do.
I'd really like to see some evidence of us having a meeting too, because I know we did not have one. And for me, I can tell you now that people on this council have told me things about various things that's going on in the city. And when I made the comment a while ago, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, I'm finding out that some of these council members are not telling me all three elements of that. And I'm finding out that the truth is spoken, but the whole truth is not being told. So I get in a different picture. And if I was to act just on that partial truth, I would find egg on my face when I approach the resident in town to take care of what it was that I was told they were doing wrong. So until I know all the elements for sure, I'm not getting excited. I'm not getting bent out of shape because somebody told me that something happened. And if I find out that what they're telling me is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, then I can do something about it. But if I look into it and I've got the partial truth and the whole picture's distorted, I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it. And what I'm thinking here is that they saw, like somebody said, they probably saw 3 people walk out of here. Not everybody in this town knows who I am. I can tell you that right now. I'll say, hi, how you doing? They look at me and say, who are you? I've been here 35 years. And you know what? I can honestly say, I don't know everybody in this town either. It changes quite often. I can't remember you guys' name, and it's on your plaque in front of you. So I think we need to put it on the back side so I can see it as well.
You've been doing better.
I am getting better. But what's that?
For every meeting, hello, my name is.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. So I just want you to know, I'm going to be as transparent as I can be, as I can legally be. Let's put it that way. Because if we have a executive session, I'm not at liberty to go out and tell you everything that went on in there. Not you, but because you should be in that executive session meeting, so you'll hear it anyway. But you see what I'm saying? So I can't be transparent 100% of the time when somebody asks me questions that involves executive session information, for example. Okay. But like I said, I'm not going to, I'm too old to run with rumors.
Well, I'm gonna try my hardest to convince the person to come to a meeting. If I can't, then so be it. They will just have to wonder.
Can I-
Because I can't force them
Right.
if they're too intimidated. You know, some people don't like to talk
But
in
you
front
know,
of
but
people.
we also don't need the perception that we're doing something illegal. So that's really that is put out there right now tonight, that we are doing something illegal. And that's what people are seeing. That's what people are hearing.
Really, it's not illegal for a mayor to meet with 2 council members at once. That
Anyway.
does not violate quorum.
That's what I said.
But that's-
It's not illegal.
Yeah,
But I
it's-
also understand the perception that she's talking about. I understand that. And you know, I've talked to you about perception on various things. I've talked to Mike about perception and how the employees are perceived by the public and what we need to do to correct that. So I understand the perception, but the public also needs to know it is not illegal for the mayor and 2 council members to be talking. If you had a third one in there, then we've got a problem. But I
It's
can
not
honestly,
quorum.
but I can honestly say, I cannot, in my mind, recall ever meeting in City Hall with anybody privately, even privately, other than at a meeting like we're having tonight. I might talk to somebody for a few minutes when this meeting's over and walk out the door and everybody's gone. And now the 2 of us walk out. But to come down on a night that wasn't a meeting or a special session or something where we were all called together to do something, I don't come in here for that. I don't do it.
And
Terry, wait a
I would like to
minute, Tim,
reiterate that if
I
the
wanna-
person
Hang on.
doesn't want to come in, they don't have to come in. If you can find it on the video, we still don't need to know who it is. If you have documented evidence that we did, I don't think you're going to find it.
I just wanted to try to, I don't know, get her calmed down, try to get it settled down, and try to make her see that I know oftentimes you guys meet over at each other's house sometimes, and that's no big deal.
I've been at Terry's house one time.
But
And he brought his wife, and the 4 of us, my wife and him and his wife, we had a glass of wine and we had some funny discussions to talk about various things. And there's nothing wrong with that. Brett comes to my house more than anybody does. Annie's never been to my house. You've never
And
been
I
to
can
my
say
house.
that.
What
I
kind
go
of
to Terry's
household?
house probably 6, 7 times
Justin's
a
been to
week.
my house a
friends
couple
with
of times
his
in the last
I've
4
traveled
years.
Europe for a month with them.
Mhm.
Like, so if I'm seeing with Terry, it should be of nothing normal. I mean, I hate Marsha and I served on the byway committee for close to 10 years now. Like, he's now suddenly mayor. That's not going to change my relationship with either 3 of those individuals.
didn't say. I just want to try to put this person's mind at ease.
Well, the best way would be for her to come in and actually talk to me if she wants to. I don't care. I'll tell
I'm
her.
gonna try.
If she will come in and talk with me without anybody else being around, I'd be more than welcome to talk to her.
I'm gonna try.
And she will more than likely have a day or a date that this occurred on. And like I said, it might jog my, there was something that went on and I happened to be down here getting whatever and ran into it, but I cannot honestly recall ever meeting with these 2 guys down here. And did she say what time did she saw us leaving the building?
Around 6:30.
Around 6:30.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's kind of flaky too, in my opinion, because the only time I'm down here that late is, like I said, during a meeting like this.
I work till 6, so it's hard for me to even get here at 7, obviously.
Yeah, I've been writing notes every week.
Yeah.
Every meeting.
When it calls your name out of roll call, you don't answer.
The silver lining
Terry,
things.
I wanna say something.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
I
Yeah.
wanna say something, Jim. Jim, that little softball you threw at me was kind of cute, but honest to God, if I have a problem with you guys, I come right to you.
No, you
I
won't.
am
You'll talk
never-
about me behind your back, just like you did to my wife that time when you went on for 7 minutes talking about my wife when you thought the camera was off. And I called you out on it the very
You're
next
talking about
meeting,
that.
and you lied about it, and you started crying your crocodile tears telling me how much you loved my wife. 2 weeks after you
I
didn't
don't
like my
remember
wife. That was
Tim.
interesting.
See, I don't remember that at
I
all.
think we're way off now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
This
that's
is,
right, but I don't have any problems. If I saw you guys doing something I didn't think was proper, I would say something.
and I would expect a citizen to say something too. I really would.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna be doing wheelies out here in my car or donuts
Oh,
and
I'm so happy.
leaving that sort of thing in the street.
You can do wheelies in your
And-
car, you deserve
Well,
to.
I know
Even if
that.
it got
It's
stuck
pretty
in between the
powerful.
light pole and the lumberyard on camera, still nothing would be done to you.
That's
Well,
true.
we don't
too.
have any jurisdiction over that. That's not us. That's the lumberyard people and the law.
The lumberyard didn't know, but that's cool. Did you know? You didn't know because I think.
Wow, I don't.
Here
Hot
again, we're
topic.
getting off.
Okay.
We're getting away from where we're at. Okay.
So,
Anything else you want to say about this?
no,
Okay.
I'm just gonna try to
Get that
convince
person.
the person.
Hey, she can call me on the phone if she wants to at my house. I don't have a problem with that. I don't even know her name. She can just call up and say, hey, Terry, I'm the lady that complained. Well, if I got called, who it was, wouldn't I? Sorry, I wasn't thinking about that.
Unfortunately, it's not like the screen in the confessional. You can't like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I don't know who you are anyway.
But I would also suggest to
Yes.
go through that camera. And if you don't find something, you don't find something. But not going through it, I feel like you're just leaving it open and don't care that you
I do
have
care.
have just put that out there about the three of us. So if you could correct that, I would love it if you could go
And
through those tapes.
If I'm wrong, I will say so in the meeting for the camera. All right? Because I don't want to cause problems. I just was maybe jumping ahead. But
concerned.
I'm concerned.
And
I
I
don't
used
think anybody will say that you were wrong because all you were is the messenger.
I know, but so please don't shoot the messenger. I'll check on that,
well for
Brett.
Please do.
a person who 25 years ago quit jumping through hoops when somebody told me something that didn't sound right, and I jumped through hoops and find out they didn't tell me the whole truth. So for at least the last 25 years, I haven't worried about anything anybody tells me until I know for sure. And especially if it's second, third, fourth, fifth hand information, you can't go by that. You really can't. But let this be known to everybody here again. When you tell me something, I don't want any of those three elements left out when you tell me something, because I'm gonna react to that. What you tell me. I'm not saying you or you have done this, but a couple of you have. So I've looked into it and we've discussed it afterwards, and they said yes, I agree with what you're saying, and I did leave that out, but it wasn't intentional. And sometimes it's not intentional, sometimes it is. I don't know, I don't care, but at least we got it out there and it's resolved. That's all I want to do, is get things resolved the proper way. Okay, fair enough. Thank you thank you for this debate. A little tense, but we got over it, I hope. Does anybody besides me have anything else they want to say?
I do.
Okay.
Since I feel so strongly about how irresponsible it is for any of us to vote on anything at the lake that nobody has put their eyes on, I would like for us to decide who we're going to have go out there and take the pictures from now on, so that people watching know that we are doing due justice and we are going and we are looking at things, because passing these without having somebody look at them could create future problems for us.
I agree.
And it has in the past in various different ways. So moving forward, we need to pick somebody. Well, you were the one who was wanting to.
I was
so
questioning who was going because
Tim
I
had a
just,
suggestion. Does Annie have a suggestion?
I don't know. Are you suggesting someone to then be employed by the city to go do those jobs? Because I was just worried about Sally losing hours that she probably desperately needs at this time.
I
So
agree with you.
am concerned that she would lose time that she might need. But I didn't know for sure. I guess I did cut you off early when you were talking about having someone go around the lake. Were you talking about for free or as an employee? I assumed as an employee.
He was going to do it as an employee, but only the hours that Sally did not want. That was the way it was originally presented. Whenever I brought it up before, told me one time that she didn't feel comfortable, I think is how she worded it, with going through people's backyards and taking pictures of some of the docks. So I took that and I spoke to somebody that does feel comfortable with it. And he said if Sally doesn't want to do this part of the job, just this aspect of it, he'd be happy to do that for her.
Well, and I don't mind that, but I would like them to go through the employment process like everybody else does.
I agree with that.
So,
And I also,
an
I am
application.
in favor of, as well as I think he is in favor of, you first offer them to Sally. She's the one who has the position. If she says, I can't handle this job or this job or this job, then he can be the cleanup or whatever we want to call it, the backup. I don't care. But we will have somebody to get it done in the event that Sally is disposed for the time.
As mayor, I will make a point to talk to Sally, tell her where she's at right now and where the position of the council is right now and what needs to be done at the lake. This is why earlier this evening, I made mention that we could consider hiring somebody temporarily while Sally is indisposed. I don't have a problem with that. The question is, do we pay by the hour? Do we pay him a salary? Personally, I know he likes to kayak, and I cannot see paying anybody by the hour to kayak around the lake taking pictures. So I have no idea how he was proposing to get paid for taking pictures. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take forever to kayak around the lake. I don't care how good you are. What do you
Well, I
think?
think we all knew that it was going to take forever to get everything documented. Like every property with pictures is going to take forever at the lake. You have to do front side, shore side. I mean, like it's going to take forever, whichever way you get it done. In my opinion, if there's not some way that's not going to take forever, please somebody enlighten me a quicker way.
Is he not working more? I mean, are they together not working more than the minute, like the maximum hours per week? Like, what is it, 20, 25? I don't know what Sally's max is if she has one.
Any max
Assume
would just be
she's-
something that we've set kind of arbitrarily. I mean, we're not going to violate capers until we get significantly more than that.
So I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about, I mean, budget wise, we're then paying 2 part-time employees and now they're doing more hours. And I'm not going to bring up other topics, but you know, we don't have money for other employees. So just let that one go for now. But so that's my frustration is then we hire a second person for this job that we've already employed. So do you see where I'm going? I'm
But
just
we're not paying the
concerned.
first person to do a job.
And I get that, yes, but
So we're not really paying out
if
any
it's a
extra money.
temporary like that, that's great, fantastic. But that's not what it sounds like from that conversation.
But
What do you
keep in
mean from
mind,
this conversation?
Going around the entire lake and doing what they're wanting to do is document every dock, isn't that right?
Absolutely.
Right, I get that, which is a job that you wanted Sally to do,
it needs to be done.
and it needs to be done. I don't know if this is the normal time of year. I know part of it is the trees are dead, but they're not going to be dead for much longer. So I don't know. Why now instead of
It hasn't been white now. I've been preaching this.
no? Why now with Sally?
Trees are dead, but yet it's
When
it's decent.
3 months ago you guys started. Is that why? Because of the weather, I guess.
Because
I've been
Not
mentioning
20
it if
below.
you look at it.
Right, I know that. I know
Okay.
that. I
This year,
trying to
too.
dredge up all that.
But you're saying, why didn't we start earlier? And I'm saying I've tried to start. I've brought it up multiple telling you.
And
Ian.
she's
I'm
been
not-
doing
I'm
it,
not
but the
debating
way,
that.
But the way that Sally has been doing it is when things come up, she goes and she takes pictures, and that's the process. She didn't, and I don't want to speak for her. I don't know time wise, but
Which is another reason right here is we
She
moved and
was-
approved this stuff and we now don't have any of this documented. So we're gonna have to make sure that we get out there and get this documented from the system that Sally has going,
and she
or
has
the
all
whole
of
system
this.
is already off kilter.
We've been in touch, so she has all this. She knows that there's pictures and stuff that needs to be taken. She had a rough weekend. She thought she was going to be able to do it this weekend. I don't want to put their stuff out there, but she had a rough weekend and she wasn't able to do it. So instead of taking these people off the agenda, I left it on. That's what it boils down
And,
to.
and let me elaborate just a minute on this whole picture. The photos at the lake of all the properties need to be photographed. There's an urgency to get them photographed. The question becomes, is the city losing money because we don't have these photographs to compare?
I absolutely believe we are.
We are.
And do we have any rough idea of how much money the city's losing because of that? Just to help, bear
Can I
with me.
give you an example?
Bear-
to you?
bear
These
with me.
people here tonight that just got their stuff approved for the shoreline, they've had a patio this whole entire time. They've been there 7 years.
7
That
years.
patio was there before they were there.
Right.
They haven't been paying this whole entire time,
Right.
which means we
$1,000.
have not. Yeah, right there.
we haven't been getting paid. That's the purpose of all of this.
Right, I
Is
understand.
because that will clean all of this up.
So
'Cause
it,
we take care of the problems as they come to us. And this is trying to be proactive so that we have to do all of that. We have it documented right here and we can say, no, you changed your dock. It was red, now it's blue. Right here's the pictures and the proof of it.
I don't
There's
think
not the
anybody's
arguing
disagreeing
back
that it
and
needs
forth.
to be done. I'm not disagreeing with
I'm
that.
not
It's
either.
a
Neither
method.
am I.
I'm trying to,
We're debating something that doesn't need to be debated. We agree. We
And I-
agree.
and
But
I'm
I thought you were debating it.
I'm
Can we
debating
afford
the
to pay them?
method.
Can we not? Can we? I mean, it's out of the lake fund and it's a necessity to get done.
The timing.
so let
What you're
me,
saying?
let me get to the point.
Put it
I'm
off
just
another
trying to answer
year.
your question.
Let me get to the point, please. I agree with everything you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying. I agree with everything everybody's saying about this lake out there. The point is, we have an urgency to get it done. Sally can't do it right now because of her situation. I fully understand that. We're not taking any money out of Sally's pocket because we're not firing her. She's still gonna have a job. If she's getting 25 hours a week, is that what she's getting, or 20? What are we supposed to be paying her? What's the amount?
Like the max, she doesn't work that
Okay, what is
I
her
mean-
max? What's her max? Just give me a number.
part-time. So what is that? Less
I
than
thought we
30
did up
hours
to
a week?
20.
Maybe.
Up to 20.
I'd have to go back and look at
So
those
even
minutes.
if we had every single picture taken out here, she's still gonna work up to 20 hours, even when all that's done. So hiring a temporary to get it done is in the city's best interest. So I don't have a problem if you guys wanna hire another employee to make sure this gets done. And I think I can talk to Sally and explain to her we're not taking money out of her pocket. But at the same time, and I don't know what Tim's thought is on what I said a while ago, but I can't see paying this guy by the hour if he's going to get in a canoe and go around the lake that way. I think that's very time consuming. Heck, when I was in Scouts, I realized that was 50 years ago, but we couldn't and paddle it a mile without spending a lot of time getting there. And that was our only goal, not counting stopping it at a certain place and taking photos. So I would think it would be a contract employee. How many properties need to be photographed, and what are we willing to pay to get that done? And then if he wants to canoe around the lake, more power to him, because we're not going to pay him any more than what the contract authorized.
Well, as we've been talking here about employee raises, council raises, it needs to be something fair. So what is your
Absolutely.
suggestion?
Well,
Because we need to make a decision tonight, because 2 weeks from now we have a meeting and we're gonna have docs on there, and then we're going to approve things that we are not looking at. And it's irresponsible to do so.
I agree.
Because we better just hope that none of this comes up and something's measured wrong or something's not done from what we just did here tonight.
Yeah, and what we witnessed tonight with this guy having his property
Exactly.
for 7 years.
Especially after witnessing
And Brett,
this and then
Brett, a moment ago,
Woosah.
a moment ago, you suggested to somebody not to raise your voice, and I'm going to suggest you not raise yours.
I just
okay?
woosawed myself.
All right. So I can go on with your conversation. We all agree, I think it needs to be done. Do we have to make a decision tonight? We're going to hire somebody? Not without going through the process of finding out who all wants to do this.
Okay, then we need to appoint an employee to go out there and make sure that these measurements are done when we have docs on the next agenda. So what employee are we going to appoint that we have?
Suggestions? What's your thoughts, Tim? Put it out there.
Justin?
I don't know. Does it make sense to have Mike or Jim or Drew do it? I don't know. I mean, that's, you're using your current employees for the one-off situation. I'm not saying go around the lake and do that, collect proactively.
It's just this one, isn't it?
Let's
Dog
acknowledge.
shade.
I'm sorry.
And
Sure.
everyone that comes up until we,
Well, and in that time period, if he's gonna apply, then he can apply and we can go through that process. And this is from here to the next meeting.
And even if we get photos of every single property out there, it doesn't stop us from having an obligation to go check on somebody's property when they want to make a change.
I was going to say we need to acknowledge the fact that we're talking about two separate duties. One of them is to go and gather data of all the properties out there, and the other one is to inspect for what we need to act upon. So if we hire this person to do job one of gathering all the data, In the meantime, separate from that duty, hey, somebody wants to transfer a dock, we tell them, hey, run over there and look at that dock, take pictures of it. That's a different duty. Maybe that can be a different, if you want to do a contract for all of the shoreline, that's one thing. But hey, go and look at this one particular, transfer or fix up, whatever it is that, fill in the
Is
blank.
outside the contract.
That would be a totally different gig. And we can view it that way. And that's when, if Sally says, I can't do it, then we let him do it. And that's exactly how I think we should proceed with it. Let Sally have the first call to say yay or nay, and then we resort to him.
Yay and nay to measure it.
Yeah, whether or not she wants to go out and look at it. Not yay or nay, it's whether it's a legit deal.
So also a contracted employee to look at properties is not giving this person a full part-time job forever. Contract AB, it's done.
Done and over.
Done and over with. I agree. I think that's the way it should go. I think it should be contracted.
So,
And I think we should give him a time frame. Don't give him a contract, let him take 10 years to do it.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think this summer should be adequate if we turn them loose for once,
Mhm.
like I've wanted to for several years now.
So is you're gonna go to your friend and ask him to apply or put in a
I've already
contract?
asked him, he's not in town, so he couldn't come down here tonight. That's why I was on my phone before. I apologize for being on my phone in the meeting. That's what
Was
I was
that
trying to do.
The person that was at the last,
Wants to go about the lake doing that. I could be totally off the wall on that.
That's probably how he wants to side pictures of the docks, because we don't have a boat that runs. So
and he's a kayak.
he's helping us a whole lot. Besides that, when each dock is set there
I've always wanted
like
to try
this,
that.
this is a shoreline. He's got a toolless kayak around each one of them. You're not going to do that in my boat.
Are you taking 3 sides of pictures of every
I
dock? Is that-
want every bit of information we can get. I want it all. But
I think he needs to come up with a proposal if he wants to do that.
Mhm.
I mean, I think a contract's the way to go. Anybody think he should be paid by?
Mm-mm.
Do you?
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't even consider the contract idea. That's why.
Okay.
The only thing I would have to say is it's hard for me in my mind to quantify what, how much a person could get done to know what a fair price for contract would be, because it might be something that he could just, even though it's kayak, I don't know, just whip through it and, hey, you're making the equivalent of $60 an hour, or, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's.
That's where contract work is an advantage to both. We
Yeah.
got the advantage of the contract getting done quick.
You know what
And
you're in it for.
Yes, we know what we're in it for, and they get the benefit of knowing if I dink around, I'm going to make $1.50 an hour. If I get out there and get it done, I can make $30 or $40 an hour.
Yeah.
So there's advantages both ways.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any clue what other lakes do with the properties that are surrounding them? Do they have people go out and take photos of everything and go through the processes that we're going through to get docks approved and other things going on out there?
We are very unique in that we allow people to build docks all over it. It's tough to find another lake similar to ours where we have this set up to where the city owns the lake and we let the residents. I can't think of. Okay, there's one other lake that I have heard, and I'm not even certain. Fox Lake over by Cassidy, Kansas, I think is somewhat similar, but I don't believe they even allow people to build docks on there. So it's hard to compare apples to apples when there's no other apples out there.
Yeah, I agree.
That I
understand.
know of.
Yeah, I understand. So what we want to make sure we do is that whatever we do to get the photos done, it's going to be compensated by the fees that we will get in return for all the docks that are out of compliance or property that's out of compliance, whatever.
And I want to clarify, it's not just docks. We want the retaining walls,
Yes, yeah,
patios,
yeah, I understand that.
structures.
But you want a picture of it from the lake view. You also want a picture from the house
From
view.
the shoreline, yes.
And you get a better idea of what we're actually looking at. I'm not in a disagreement with that because I honestly have seen some photographs of some people's property out there that I'm wondering what the heck is going on here. and then when I physically go out there and look at it, then I can see what they're trying to show me in these photos. That's why I think it's important we have a hands-on look at it before we, like you said earlier, how can you vote on something you haven't seen? That's kind of the way I feel. So do we want to put the word out there that we're looking for somebody to contract to do that? Or do we want to go ahead and get this guy that's new here in town and have him propose to us what he would like to get paid to do that? And then we can discuss it.
I think just to be fair, I mean, nobody knows that I think we should at least put up a flyer saying that we're looking for somebody.
I think it does need to be advertised in some way. I agree.
I think we need to offer it to people before we just,
Maybe somebody at the lake will want it.
because my perception of this is going to be from people that we hired Tim's friend. I mean, you know.
Oh, yes,
open
yes.
it
I
up.
understand. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. Give an appearance that we're not doing something ethical. Did you get all that?
She did.
Sure did. There in there.
Okay, so let's decide here, guys. I thought we were gonna be done by 8:30. Wow.
Yeah,
But go ahead. Let's make a decision.
I move that we put up whatever flyers, or do we need to put an ad in the paper?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think anybody's put up some flyers or some notices around town that we're looking for somebody to photograph and document the shoreline of the lake.
Everybody looks at Eskridge Watch too.
Okay, so
They do,
So,
and the
you're
Eskridge
right.
page. Yeah,
Moving out of your way. sorry.
on Facebook.
I'm just kind of rude.
They do look at it. That's how we got all those people at bingo.
We also had it in Eskridge. That helped.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
That helped
Actually, a bunch of
lot.
people asked us why we had it there. So might not have actually.
I think it did. I mean, in the
It was
Chamber of
one-
Events,
was it a
I think
different
we
crowd or
always
was it
had.
We doubled our attendance. So
Can I
we
get a
had.
second?
Yeah, I
I
second.
second.
Thank you.
I
Hey,
think
Bob.
everybody just wanted to get out.
okay. All right. We've got a motion to put flyers around town to hire someone to document the lake via photographs. Do you want any written documentation or just pictures? We need to know. Then we need to know the of the property, right?
Mhm.
So address, photos, measurements. Is there we do measurements right now or no?
No. I think just photos right now. Measurements will be done. Yeah.
While they're there, why not take the measurements?
It'll
So
take
what
them
about
longer.
Sally?
No,
Well, Sally-
Sally is doing the public office. I don't know.
I know where she's going with
The
that. and I-
measurements would be,
Can I say that each one would go to Sally first, and if she's having trouble, then that person, has a per unit price in that contract that we say, okay, it's yours now, but Sally has the right of first refusal. That's kind of how I would word that, but
Of docs that are coming up on the agenda, or
Dolly,
every doc that he's
Dolly,
about to take a
you must be
picture of
thinking
and
about me.
measure.
I'd say
Well, I'm
both,
just thinking
honestly.
this is-
I would too, and I figured that we would discuss that when the applicant comes in. I don't
Yeah.
know if it needs to be included in the motion.
I don't think we need Sally's permission
I
to
don't
do
even
this.
need a
I
motion
No, I-
for flyers. do
Yeah,
we?
I don't think we- I don't think we do either.
I can talk to Sally.
so.
Yeah.
And I know she was upset the last time that we discussed this because she felt like we were taking money out of her pocket. But it's like I said, she still has a 20+ hour a week job, even when she comes back full time. Even if everything that was taken and done in 2 weeks before she can come back, she still has a 25 hour a week job. She's not losing anything.
Is that what she puts it? I'm just asking the question.
Yeah.
I
No.
think it was she could put in up.
She can
to-
do up
220,
to,
yeah.
but she's not
Yeah.
like,
She hasn't ever done that, has she?
no, if she has, it's been very rare.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, it's going to take more than 20 hours to go out there and photograph everything.
I look at hours on the checks all the
And
Oh, yeah,
measure.
it's like very
Because-
minimal, like
Well,
two.
Just one at a time, please.
I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry. What'd you say?
So whoever we hire is going to photograph and measure the property and the decks and the docks at the same time, right?
Are they going to get out of their boat and go on shore? That's my
They're
question.
gonna have to get on the shore to take pictures. And they're gonna have to be in the boat to take pictures.
That's my intent.
That's 2 trips probably doing it.
Okay.
So when they're taking the pictures from the shoreline, they're going to be measuring the docks. These application processes that go on our agendas, that's what's going to be put to Sally first, right? And then if Sally can't do it, then that guy would possibly go out and do it.
I go along with
Okay.
that, yes.
I was just getting
Yes.
clarification.
He's just being hired, he or she is just being hired to document the lake.
If
shoreline.
Sally cannot.
Well, we know Sally can't at this point, and I'll talk to her again. I'll talk to her again and commit from her a time frame. If she can't, and you know, I'm sorry, her husband is ill. He's a good friend of mine, and I, you know, do have some sympathy, but we have a business to run and we need to get it accomplished. Okay. Did everybody disagree with that? Anybody disagree with that?
Disagree with
I don't
that.
disagree, because if something happened to Stephanie, we would be getting an immediate city clerk replacement to fill in for
Well,
her.
from what I hear,
We
she
still
don't do
like to
anything,
go.
so why do we
Oh,
need
we
to
don't have a
replace her?
city clerk for 5 months.
Okay,
Wouldn't it be hell if he just, you know, found out somehow how much to do?
Yeah.
anyway,
So for that evaluation.
what I said, yeah, you're ready for it? Okay. Keep on talking.
Are we done yet?
No, we're not, I don't think. So the motion was that we put flyers out
Yeah.
to advertise for someone to take pictures of the shoreline and measure.
Structures. docks, and structures.
All right. And we have a second on that. The further discussion on that is, I think we need to notify lake residents that this is going to happen.
We've already
Yeah.
told them.
I think we need to-
A reminder is a nice,
It's nice,
courtesy.
remind them and
especially if they're
maybe,
like, "Who's in my yard?"
and I'm not saying go buy this
It's not
guy a
their yard.
uniform.
It's our shoreline.
I'm not
Good
saying go buy the guy a
question.
uniform, but he's got to be identified so the folks out there don't shoot him.
And I think we have a vest. We had a vest for Kezia, correct?
I think so.
Something, okay.
Something that said COE.
So
or
we
something.
get somebody come in with a proposal to do this, we will let them know they have to wear this vest or whatever this identifying mark is. We will let the lake residents know that this person's going to be out there. And to avoid talking to him as much as possible because he's got a job to do.
If we have one of them orange vests that you just throw one over top of something, and if it doesn't have COE on there, my wife has a Cricut, I can have her print out the letters. and
Okay.
Just put COE on it.
Okay.
So,
All right. Any further discussion on this?
Who in the meantime is going to be appointed to be doing these measurements?
Nobody.
So the next council meeting, when we have dock transfers on here and this comes up, we're gonna approve stuff again with nobody
Not
going out and seeing
necessarily.
it?
Not necessarily. We're going to discuss it like we always do, and then you guys are going to vote on it.
and there's a possibility. of
So
city-
there's a potential that this could happen
Sure.
again.
There's
Sure.
a possibility a city council person may have been out there to look at it by then. It's the way we've done it in the past.
I know, I go out and look.
I've been out there a couple times
Oh
myself.
my gosh!
so-
Yes. Can we vote,
Yes.
please?
Well, we've got to find out if there's any further discussion first. If there's no further discussion, then we can vote. But I understand what you're saying. My point on that
Do you
is,
have somewhere to go?
for,
I'd like to go to bed, honestly.
for 10 years, y'all haven't done anything about it. So I don't see where 2 weeks is going to hurt us to wait. That's just my thought, throwing it out there.
Something I would agree with there.
I'm not saying nothing, I'm not saying anything further. Anybody have any comments? Anything to say? All right, let's vote. All in favor of putting the flyers out with those stipulations?
Sorry.
5-0. Okay, now we're
Okay.
still not quite done. So what's next? Anybody have anything?
I would just,
I've got something too, and so does Julie, but what do you have?
I would just ask, what'd you guys think of the regional council, EPA?
I thought it was very
Everybody said-
informative, and I hope that people in the community take advantage of it.
Can we put that, building across the street, the old IGA building, an application in for that?
I
Wonder
think we
what you
should.
guys think of that?
Yes, absolutely. I think we should do that. Anybody that was there have any objections to that?
Negative.
It needs to get done.
Should we put other ones in with that? I know they were kind of saying, well, you know, if you do the whole block, then it goes here. If you do a couple businesses, then it kind of goes to the Kansas side of things.
Okay.
I don't know, that's,
I was
understand.
unclear. Can they skip buildings?
oh, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a voluntary program. You can't be voluntold that you're going to get your stuff looked at. I
Well,
mean,
since the IGA is in such disrepair and such a poor state, I would imagine that the Furmans that own the building next to it probably has had some damage from that building to their building.
Even the
So
Buffalo Inn could
maybe
have
you should
this.
consider
It's possible.
including that building that adjoins to the IGA that the Furmans own in your list of things.
I don't have a problem with that at all. If they, I mean, I'd say anybody that wants to do it, that they basically said, they'll look at anything and do an assessment.
Right.
And it comes with no obligation of
Right.
any kind to get work done on it or whatever, which you wouldn't think that from the EPA, but they assured us that's what how it is. So
So if the city applies, and maybe I just need to ask them, I was kind of unclear on that. Like, how do you get business owners or property owners to sign off on that when the city is the one that's applying for it?
I think they have to have. I mean, they have to have permission to go on the property. I think they have to have buy-in from the
Owners.
landowner, the building owner.
So we would
Yeah.
just get permission.
They don't
to
have to
put
turn
in
their
an
property over to
application
us.
for
They do
the-
not have to turn their property
Yeah.
over to the city.
And we
Right, but we
Yeah.
apply is what she said, right? Like
yeah,
we
she said
apply
it,
for
she said it
them.
looked better. I thought she said they could apply, but it looks better if the
If the
city does it.
something like that.
So yeah,
So
I don't know. I mean, that's
I think we can get some buy-in from several business owners in town to have assessments done. It don't cost them anything.
Yeah.
Dolly, you can get your store assessed if you want to.
Yeah,
Won't
we'll
cost
need
you a
another
dime.
roof again.
You can do the same thing, Brett, to Buffalo Inn. I'm sure Furman's is going to.
and I think the
Would
city needs to
Fosters get
support.
theirs done?
Pardon me?
Were the Fosters there?
They were
They
there,
were
but
there.
they never said anything to me about what their intentions were.
Oh, okay.
So I have no idea.
Yeah, they were there to hear it.
In the
Their
cross
whole
building
roof
for
was
sure,
blown
they're
up
all
the
for
other
it. I
day.
know that.
It was higher than
So-
a brick. I had Julie take a picture of it.
I think we need to get in touch with these folks and say, hey, we're going to help you to do this or do that.
Did he ever contact you about his coffee cup?
no, I need to.
I sent him a picture and
Oh,
texted him
yeah.
the next day. And
Oh, I still have it.
The other thing they mentioned I thought was really intriguing was that
Statute of
KSU
limitations.
tab. That group out of K-State that kind of does planning on behalf of cities, and it kind of sounded like they did it on the House. That I thought that was very intriguing and something we need to take advantage of, especially if they, say are capable of doing an LMI survey or that, stuff. But I think that's kind of what we lack a lot of because we are part-timers. It's the nature of this, to have somebody that knows what they're doing as far as city planning. I mean, all the major cities, they have city planners. You hire that, you get your degree in government and all that, and they've got an army of those people working on grants and things like that. And, we get left in the dark because we don't have plans, and that's, I don't know, that partnership sounded nice. I didn't,
Yeah.
don't know what that entails, but I don't know how to get those people in here or how to reach out necessarily. I thought they were
Get with the
info
public.
on that, but
Let's get with the public business
Yeah.
owners and get their
so
buy-in to what we're wanting to do.
So do you want me to send out letters?
Yes.
Okay.
If you would, please.
so do we want to go ahead and
Be
say
sure they
tonight, let's
understand.
apply?
I'm sorry, be sure they
Oh, sorry.
understand that it's an assessment that is no cost to the business owner. I don't want them backing out.
And
because they-
nobody's going to force them to do anything
Right.
financially after the report.
I think that's going to be
Is
the
that-
hard pitch to people, but yes,
It
I
is.
will.
It's hard
Very
to
concerning
believe,
to everyone that I've
I'm
talked
from the
to.
government and I'm here to
I
help,
feel like
that
people are
kind
going
of
to
thing.
see,
But
yeah.
Justin K-State did an evaluation
my
of my
app,
building like 10 years ago on how I could improve for circulation and
feel
Yes.
air conditioning.
do
It was
that.
free.
Oh,
So
okay.
like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's there.
Let's do that.
I didn't have to pay
I
anything
did
for
ask
it.
them if
Yeah.
it income,
I still
if
have
it
it.
also, if it is limited to only Main Street, or does it encompass the rest of the town? And they said within a few blocks. Well, that's the
The entire town. Yeah. I thought
So
that was funny too.
if there are people, for example, I know somebody that has a doctor's office on the property that is
Mhm.
falling apart.
Mhm.
I
It can
would
be
like it
assessed.
assessed.
Yeah.
No more.
But there's also, I was trying to talk to the people on the property across the street from me because I thought there was a butane tank buried in the yard and I was trying to convince her, whatever. That would have been something had it been the correct tank. But other properties that are close to Main Street and everything in town is close to Main Street.
Well, and they said the
So
school
if you
would
want to
be
put something
eligible if we were to
alluding
get
to that,
something on that.
Yeah, they want it, they were.
I don't want
wanting
people
it
to think it's only for downtown
Just
businesses
buildings and
and such.
But we're gonna start with the downtown. I think if we start with the downtown and the city residents see that something's being done and it's not costing the business owners anything, then they might voluntarily step forward at this point. It'd make the sell to them easier as well for them to see this going on.
Another thing they mentioned is it makes grants to the city later easier. To
Yes.
say we've had a brownfields assessment, this is what it says. And, you know, as far as those types of grants that rehabilitate the buildings and everything, so.
I was curious if they can assess our water plant. Same as 15K. Just a thought.
Yeah.
We don't know the answer.
I know
but
you
just a
asked
thought.
about various things at the lake and I didn't hear the answer that they were giving you because there were several sidebars going on at that time. So it's something that doesn't hurt to ask them anyway once it's that thing going. Okay, anything further in the city? We know what we're gonna do with that.
so am I
Just to-
applying
You're
also
not-
for the
not-
IGA? Is
not
that-
at this point. We've got
You
to,
want to wait till the other
Build
ones
our
come
list.
in?
yes, because
Okay.
we want to build a
That's
list, good way to put it. We want to build our list of property owners that want to have an assessment done. Then we will approach these folks that came down and say, this is what we got. What's your suggestion on the best way to approach it?
Yeah.
To proceed, let's put it that way. Because I heard several things. If the city gets something going, it makes it easier to get everybody else in line. And then I heard group them together to make it easier. So let's get the builders list together and proceed from there, okay?
Start rolling that snowball down the hill.
Julie, you said you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, just 3 quick things. Did Mike get a chance to look at the aerator out there? At the bait house?
I don't have an
I
answer.
don't know. I haven't talked
Yeah,
to
I
him.
talked to him, but I don't have an answer.
I know
for
he
you.
was reading meters and then he
Yes.
left. But
If he does, cause he's gonna be gone all week,
Yes,
is there any way I could, if I can contact Dave Dunbar and ask him if he would
you can always call Dave Dunbar and ask him,
fix it? Or,
does all it needs a plug and some water and then turn the thing on to see if it even bubbles in there? Is that what we're looking at?
I don't know.
Okay.
I looked at it.
Do you,
I
I
was
think,
told
I
it
don't know
was
what the tank looks like. I
working
mean, I know what it
last
looks
year,
like,
but-
Do we know if the water's even turned on out there?
I don't think the water's turned on. Has it been turned on since you and I went
I
out there?
didn't try it, no,
Okay,
I don't know.
because when you and I went out there last Thursday or Friday, the water was not
Right.
turned on. Well, we can get Drew to do that.
Yeah, I would think he would know how.
Okay.
My second
I
question
get over
is,
Drew. Okay.
I need to do some shopping for out there and I don't have a tax ID number since it was just the other day that I got this job. Is there a way that I can use the city's tax ID number to
No.
get it? hooked
No,
up?
but you can use your own social security number for a tax ID temporarily.
Okay,
But check with the state anyway to double check because rules change all the time.
okay. And, thirdly, I was wondering if we could get maybe just some sand on the beach. Cause I don't know if any of you guys have drove out there or not.
Yeah.
There's not even any sand for a little kid to play in.
Yeah, it's kind of
It's-
dangerous.
So maybe if, we could just put some at least up there for what the beach is left until we can get the wall built to keep it up there. Cause, I mean, it's sad.
So
It
we
is.
need to look into that.
Okay.
You'll make a note, and then I'll get with the boys on that and see if we get some ideas on where we can get some of that.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Sand is pure.
Okay, and I have only one thing and then I'm totally done unless somebody else has
I
something.
do.
Okay, all right, you got, I'll be,
Let's stay with the
Man,
lake,
what's the point of
Okay,
this?
go ahead.
the camping out there. We can't use Astor till the 7th. What about people who want to camp in the interim? Since all camping is booked through Astra cannot start till the 7th. I said, let them go out and camp and first come, first serve. Yes, we're losing money on that, but I don't think it's fair for somebody to go out there on Friday. If, let's say Julie was out there Friday night cleaning up or whatever, so she took money from people, but she wasn't there Saturday night, and those people got came for free. I don't want that to start happening.
Again, I don't know why you wouldn't just use the square. To
I don't
charge.
either. Why wouldn't we
mean,
use that?
We don't have to give away
Because she's not
camping.
working yet. We don't have an
Means,
operator
he means from now until
until
April
the
7th.
7th.
Like just letting people go stay. I just
They've been used the
Here's an
lake all
example,
winter,
Andy.
why not?
They're putting boats on the lake right now because
Yeah.
the
Someone
gate
did
is
call this
still
week
open.
in a tent. Yeah, they called City Hall.
They did.
Yeah.
And he
just
let
don't
them
like
have
it being
it for free.
I
unregulated.
was just, they were like, well, I'm gonna,
I don't like the boats.
and I
being
talked to you about
unregulated.
it.
But there are
So-
people that live on the lakes with boats, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
If they wanna do it in a tent.
No, I know.
Tent, let them,
But I think they're
You guys are aware too that the gate
Wetland
was never
protection.
shut on the ramp at the lake
yes,
all winter
that's
long,
what
right?
they're just
So people had the opportunity to boat all year long and fish all this time without paying. That's our fault for not following up that the key wasn't turned in
they could
or,
fish anywhere, but
or other things that
Keys
were
to
done
the
out
bait
there.
shop were just turned in last week.
Yeah.
Well, that's on the previous administration.
Okay.
No, it's
And
not.
you said you had one thing.
I was just going to double check everyone was good with the contract emailed to everybody.
On the bait
Don't
shop.
get emails
Um,
still, so no,
The bait
haven't
shop.
read any of
On the
it.
bait shop. Yeah.
Okay, do you want to read it? And then I'll have Terry and Julie
Who am I
sign it
emailing
since
then?
we're all here.
Nobody. I mean, I've told you that too. 6 months I couldn't get into my email. I've been telling
it's not. I'm not
everybody
emailing
that.
your email, so it
So
was a long time ago.
I don't get anything from you for the park board and anything from the city. But go ahead.
Go ahead and pass
Just
that
make
down.
sure everybody's good.
What was the answer on camping? Are we okay with just letting people first
I
come,
am.
first serve?
I'm
until the
okay with
7th?
it. I'm okay with it. They can't reserve anything after the 7th.
Okay.
I mean, we're looking at 1 week right now.
Yeah, I just want to make sure people know that we're not going to be calling the law on them. But I don't also want to put up a free camping.
For
I
1
know,
week.
I'm not gonna let anybody know that.
I do need to sign that tonight.
Yeah, well,
But if you want to call,
Nobody's
I'll make a
probably
copy of
watching
it.
I'll stay out.
The people that are don't camp.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Last thing for me is I want to remind everybody that tomorrow night is the Vietnam Era Veterans Recognition Program. And as such, I have a flyer that I'm asking if the city council will approve, allowing me to make 100 copies of it to pass out to people that are going to be there. And I want you to pass it around and take a quick minute and look it over and read it and decide whether or not that's something you're willing to let the city do as their donation to this program.
Sure.
While I'm here, I'm also going to publicly thank the people that helped sponsor this, which is the Eskridge Lumberyard, Flint Hills Bank, Eskridge Market, and DRB Express. They've all contributed in some way to this, what's going to be the success of this program tomorrow night. You don't have to be a veteran to be there. The public is invited. It's free. There's going to be coffee and cookies and donuts. And Dolly said something. What did you say, Dolly?
I said cookies,
Yes, cookies.
coffee, tea, and cookies.
Coffee, tea, and cookies. And it's going to be an eye-opening event, especially for people that are probably 40 and under, because they don't have a clue what went on back in the 60s and 70s when Vietnam was going on and what America was like back then. So do y'all get a chance to look at this?
Oh, it's super brand.
You got my thumbs up.
I need a motion to allow it, please.
Move to approve the 100 copies.
One copies, okay.
So
So we have a motion to approve 100 copies for the Kansas Vietnam Era Veterans Program and a second by Tim. Any discussion? Those in favor? Thank you guys very much. 5-0. Appreciate it.
Quickly, right here it said in this care of weed growth. I thought that she asked that the city during their normal general maintenance
Oh, she
weed
did.
eat the weed growth. Yes, so
And
that
needs updated.
yeah, so that means right because you don't want to be.
I have seen
She
that.
wanted us to mow and trim,
Right, we-
Yeah, I missed that part.
not
So yeah,
put
so
any
that she's not
chemicals
on the
down
hook for
to
that.
prevent
Yeah.
the weeds from coming up. Is that what that said? She's weed control. Is that what you're
Mhm.
referring to for chemicals and things like that?
No, it just says
I
weed
prefer
growth.
we don't use chemicals, but that's
Yeah.
another.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well,
Not
weed
at
growth.
near the lake.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, mark the change on there and hand it back to Stephanie. We'll redo it. Julie, you and I have to come down and get this signed
Okay.
at some point.
Okay.
Like problem. We'll just,
What is this here?
this is a check for a reimbursement of $60 and then the first April 1st installment.
Do I need to sign that?
Yes.
What is that?
This is her first installment check, as well as being reimbursed the $60 that she did not get from her renting of the shelter house. Is that correct? Yeah. And it says so on there. I should have read that. Okay, anybody have anything else? What's next?
Move to adjourn.
All right. Have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
The second. Let's go. We're done. We're gonna have to approve it. There's no discussion on it, so approved.
Yes, you told me your email didn't work, and then you told me to send it to that one, which I have been doing for some time now. Yeah, I wouldn't have this email if you didn't give it to me.
Well, I probably did, but that's the one that I use for the city.
Yeah.
And I've refused
What do we
to
have inside the
turn into an email.
We have two
coolers. I've been trying to Gmail.
You have
Tried.
face recognition on your phone. You should set up
Need to
an
find
email
out.
that way then or something.
I've never.
Yes, I do.
My bank account.
I do need somebody to go down there and inspect off if half circle travel. We want.
Things were
getting
Right, he did. I was having a flashback to Will Smith.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, thank God it didn't come to that.
Wants to know how.
That was a pretty hard match.
I'm surprised he did knock him down.
I'm surprised he took it as well as he did. I mean,
He kind of laughed it off.
yeah.
I don't have.
I've heard it.
Same as Mike, if I'm supposed to, okay, and then are you still
Another thing is.
calling to others?